Oh, fuck. Oh. Well, fuck. That was literally the definition of out a penthouse to outhouse. That was disgusting. I mean, the game in totality, obviously, the outcome's disgusting, but to oh fuck, that's terrible. I mean, again, the way I keep my head on straight right now is I have to look back at four straight Super Bowl losses. Music City Miracle, 17 years with nothing. Um, and that's the only way I can keep myself like this right now. Otherwise, I won't be in a good spot. The defense, I don't. I know everybody's going to bang on about that, and it was terrible. At the end of the day, it's Kansas City. It's a track team with Travis Kelce and arguably the best quarterback in the league, and they're coming downhill at you on a loop. And I don't understand playing the last sequence that way when you just let Kelsey get a free release down the seam, and Levi Wallace is like 3 yards on his outside shoulder. And I know that's going to be replayed on a loop. I just didn't understand the whole. And again, they were on the field 10 more minutes. They gave up 540 yards. And it was just I didn't understand why there was no squib kick. That was the thing that really it wasn't the defense. It was just like if you squib that ball, 3 to 4 seconds are going to roll off that clock, at least, and you're going to force them to return it unless if they just give themselves up, the ball's dead right there on a kickoff, I believe. But still, the ball something is going to come off the clock. And I just don't understand. They're not going to try to score a touchdown there. They're going to try to get in field goal range. I did not understand anything that went on. I think the defense was just completely gassed. They didn't have any answers. I mean, you saw they put Mahomes off the spot multiple times. He was able to evade. He was able to make throws. He was able to scramble. And when he did, he was able to throw it away. They got to him twice. It was just Allen was sensational. Jesus Christ, he was fucking amazing. I mean, he's the best quarterback that's ever played in a Bills uniform. I mean, these last two performances have pretty much cemented it. Um, that kid is really really special, and he's got that ice. He's got that rare ability. With the quarter, with the high end ability to do what he does, but he seemed the moment wasn't too big. He was completely cool, calm, collected, and it was just, you know, it was one of the best quarterback performances in Bills history. It's just a shame that it had to end like this. I mean, what this kid did last in 2 weeks. Yeah, Tom, they're gonna have a chance to win every year. With this kid, yeah, it's just to go from that high and that low that quick, man. It just really, you know, everybody wants to say this is the. I mean, again, every year is a new year, so let's not. Most people want to fire people and run people. I mean, again, the defense had to make a stop after there was a 3-and-out by the offense, after the penalty on offsetting, block in the back, one player ran out of bounds. Everybody's going to be like, well, the defense held them 3. That's the only way the Bills end up getting to where they got. That was massive. They were first and goal at the 16-yard line. They were held there. And there was missed kicks on their end, a missed PAT, a missed field goal. So it just to get the air taken out of the balloon like that. I wouldn't say rob, Trevor. I think they robbed themselves. I mean, you play a 60-minute football game. There's 60 minutes to win it. There was a couple of chances they had on offense where they just went 3 and out, and I felt like, look, and it was the drive right before they went down 23 to 14. And then they went down and scored rather quickly with the Davis rather quickly. It was a 75-yard Davis touchdown, for Christ's sake. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a game for him. 8 catches, 201 yards, 4 fucking touchdowns. Jesus Christ. Last time a Bills player had 4 touchdown receptions in a game, I believe, was Don Beebe against the Steelers in 91. What a holy shit. You know, I don't know what happened with the play. I just don't know, Hussein. I don't know what don't worry about the out of bounds. Don't worry, like, you don't need whatever, guard the sideline. Just condense the middle of the field. I just don't they're not going to try to beat you over the top in that amount of time. Were they afraid of a catch and run because they had got burned on the hill play the previous one where he went across he was able to cross, just got past Wallace, and that was it. I'd like to think that, the way Allen was walking off that field tonight, he looked like the way he, was walking off the field tonight. I mean, this one is going to that type of kid is just driven. He's never been given the silver spoon. He's never been given the fucking, he still has his haters. He still has his detractors. So that kid has piss and vinegar for a lifetime. He's going to bounce back. And, we saw what we have at quarterback tonight. Tell me, you know what? I'm gonna go off on a tiny tangent. Nothing Joe Burrow has done has shown me he's better than Josh Allen. Nothing Justin Herbert has shown me suggests that he's better than Josh Allen. Tell me Josh Allen isn't a better big game quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, for Christ's sake. Go look at Aaron Rodgers' last 4 or 5 playoff games. Terrible. So this kid is the goods, and I'm just not going to allow myself to go off on the rails because I got to keep my head on straight, because I want to fucking yell and pound and kick and scream. It's just all I asked, just like I the second they didn't do it, I'm like, why didn't they squib the ball? Just squib the ball. Like I just don't get it. I just don't get why they didn't do that. Just just again, dude, just when you're trying to travel, when the Bills played them, your week 4 legs are a lot better than your week 19 legs. And when you've got a track team that's just coming downhill on you and they're running across the field and they can do so, they're so varied. And the run defense wasn't good tonight either. They got hit with some big runs by Edwards-Helaire. He's such a short dude. Those little gives, they thought Mahomes had kept them, and he burnt them for like 3 15-plus yard runs. I know there was a couple of 20-yarders in there. I think it's time for them anyway, Trevor. Uh, I yeah, man. I just think a lot of these young guys still need to. It's their time now. It's Epinessa's time. It's Roseo's time. But man, Mahomes is elusive. He's hard to get a gauge on. There's time you don't know if you have to be disciplined because if he's trying to draw you up because he wants to do something to you. So I think that's in their heads. And I think a lot of times he plays a sandlot game, and it's hard to play against quarterbacks like that. It's like Josh Allen. It's like he can play a sandlot game. He can do the power run game. He can throw it over your head. So to defend a guy that has the whole field available to him in both ways is for a defense is fucking take your pick. And that's Jordan. That's again special teams. They had their faults. Two kicks were missed on their end. Giving up that long punt return that resulted in three. Defense had to hold them out of the end zone there. They did. Um, there was a couple of times early in the game that they held them out, but it's still, you're playing against a team like that. There was a couple of times there was one down in particular the offense had. It was just like it was a third and short, nothing much, and they just decided to do the one run to Singletary, and it was stuffed, and and they were backed up, so they couldn't go for it. It was just like that. That was just to me that was a moment that they could have, and then KC gets the ball, they go down and score, and it was 24 to 4, well 23 to 14, but the Bills scored right away. But still, those possessions matter, man. Your defense they needed a long blow there, but they just didn't get it. They didn't get it. That's a fucking it's not a slapdick team. That's not a slapdick team. That's a team that has been to the AFC Championship game 4 times, a team that's been to the Super Bowl twice. So it's not like they suck. It's not like they were out there playing against, they got fucking shredded by the Dolphins or the Jets or, the Texans. They got shredded by that, so there's only so much fire I can lay at them. The last sequence, though, I will. Okay. The last sequence, though, I will. That's 13 seconds. Where was the squib kick? Did Bass not get the signal? Was he told? Was he not told? We'll never know. We just can speculate till the day is done. We get into the playoffs, Hussein. That's the difference now. We before there was no quarterback and there was no playoffs and there was nothing. I hope they should Bunzolo, but we'll see. But there's a 60-minute game in there too, man. There was a 60-minute game. Well, it's just Al. It was like the first game. No team turned over the ball tonight. No turnovers by either team. Allen got lucky on the one. Remember when he got hit, the ball came right back to him because the ball was out. The Bills pinned them back, flipped the field, but they didn't score a touchdown. They got the ball at like the 40. I think they picked up. Did they? No, they didn't pick up a first down. They punted it again. It, maybe I'm reading some of these comments, guys. Sorry. I don't see where I see Vic Fangio. I mean, I don't know why everybody's bringing his name up. He runs a completely different defense. He's a 3-4 guy. Um, I know Frazier is going to be the target tonight, and that's pretty normal. I mean, if the ball gets squibbed, a couple of different things happen. It just that's what's gonna maybe why would you want Belichick? You just would suggest that he's amazing and great, like for this era. Maybe yesteryear, he's not leaving. I wouldn't trust one of his sons. Just yeah, they didn't get a play out. They just didn't get a play. Um, yeah, Timothy. Like there was two drives there. The Bills went 3-and-out, and I felt at those points during the game, one was the game was tied. The other they were down. I believe at that point they were down 17-14, and I'm like, okay, you need it. This is your chance. Get the fucking ball back and score. And they went 3-and-out. KC got the ball, and I know Bucker misses the kick. Allen puts the ball over their defense's heads. Davis catches it. So it seems like, but those possessions count, man. They count a lot. It's just like the fucking punt. There was offsetting penalties. They don't get to drive the length of the field. They get the ball at 16, but the defense holds them out of the end zone. I mean, you'd rather have them attempt threes instead of score 6s and 7s. So it's a mixed bag, man. Their kicker missing PATs, missing a field goal at the end of half. The game never gets to this point. So I mean, we can, it's the whole woulda, coulda, shoulda. But it just sucks that I wish they could have won the toss. I wish they could have won the toss because I felt every bit of confidence they could have went down and scored, and won the game. Yeah, me too, Thomas. I mean, I mean, 13 seconds. I mean, what more do you want? Yeah, Fangio's a 3-4 guy, and everybody will say like he's hyper aggressive and stuff, but that's just our defense is our defense. That's just not going to happen. Well, if Allen doesn't slip in Tennessee, they're the first seed, but that's neither here nor there now, guys. We're just, me too, man. Me too. I thought he played all right tonight, Al. It was just decided to place. Yeah, I don't get it, Doug. You'll never. Again, Doug. I'm not arguing with the stupidity. I just don't understand. Did they think they were going to catch and? I think that's what they were afraid of, because the touchdown before, Tyreek Hill, they had the angle on him. He's running towards the far sideline. He's booking like. I mean, I don't got to tell you how fast he is. We all saw how fast he is. But he outflanked and ran past everybody on that defense. And I don't know, in my mind, did they think that was going to happen again? Did that shake the shit out of them? Like, holy shit, we can't. Speed kills, and speed will scare the shit out of you. And that's what happened. It was the speed. To me, that's exactly what happened. They were just scared. They were going to get a ball caught underneath, and then they were just going to run past them because they were gassed. And instead, they got the I don't even want to say nickel and dime. They got two chunk plays, and then boom, Bucker makes the kick, and that's it. Allen doesn't get the ball again. Hussein, that'll be the question of the offseason. Who knows, man? Maybe if the right owners push for it, like Jerry and the Rooneys and maybe Amara, but I don't know, man. It's tough. No, I know he had a great catch on the one on the 2-point conversion. That was huge. Trey not having, of course, you don't have a corner like Trey White. That's going to hurt you, but it hadn't hurt him at all till now. And it's just that it's not, again, they're not just some team. So when you talk about them, it's like, okay, they've been there plenty of times, done that plenty of times. So it's not like the Bills are there playing shit, and they're there in their building. They're there at home. So, and that's a hard place. That's one of the hardest places to play in the league. So again, that's a lot to try to overcome, and the Bills were right there to overcome it, and just it seemingly slipped away. You know, you'll drive yourself crazy, Jordan. Don't keep watching it because the outcome's not going to change. That's like a form of insanity, dude. You'll drive yourself nuts, man. I watched it once. I don't need to see it again. I know exactly what happened. You know, again, you know, people are gonna want Frazier on a spit, but no mirror breaking, man. No mirror breaking. I don't know if I don't know what they were afraid of. I just think they were afraid of a guy catching a ball underneath and running past them. Just the way what how long was the play that Hill caught? How long was that catch? That was a fucking long catch. That was what? I like the no calls tonight, but the holding on Dane was ticky. Yeah, that was a little bitch made. No, the long one, the long one. He scored a touchdown on the 64 yards. It was a 64-yard catch, and then um Hardman turned on the Jets on the one run. I don't know if it was an end around or it was a quick hitter, but they all stopped, thought he was going to get pushed out of bounds, and he just hit another gear, and he's in the end zone. Bills have, yeah, that was ticky tack. I didn't see that hold. I mean, it was a very ticky tack hold, and this crew was supposed to let guys play, but I didn't see the again. But they missed a kick, they missed a field goal, so it all evens out, man. I know, I know who's saying that was the Davis bomb, but they 13 seconds. I mean, I'm just trying to make sense of it. I don't. It doesn't make sense. I'm just trying to. That's all. Even yeah, it's the speed, man. The speed, and when they're making plays and they're running at you and they're as fast as they are, they were definitely they did not handle the speed well. They were getting outflanked. They were getting just out positioned. They lost leverage a bunch of times on the edge. There was several times. I mean, even on those Edwards Hilaire runs, the defense was stuck in place waiting for Mahomes to just come back with the ball. Before they know it, Edwards Hilaire is 10 yards upfield. Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. This is not easy for me. I did not want to be. I wanted to be in here, fucking going crazy, enjoying a win after 13 seconds. You know, Music City Miracle hurt. I mean, that was the last time they were in the playoffs, and it got more and more as time went on. That was my last playoff memory for a long time. Yeah, that it was. Defenses I've come to find Hussein when you're in the playoffs and you're against the best quarterbacks. If that's Joe Burrow, I'm not, but it's like when you got that level of speed and a team that has won and been in every imaginable scenario, it's ridiculous. There's no other way to put it. I mean, everybody will want to say like, oh, Allen needs his Hardman, he needs his Tyreek Hill. You can find fast guys, but you gotta, they gotta make their own way. They can't try to copy. We're our own team. We're our own offense. You don't have to copy what KC does. We just gotta be. They've got to be them, and they've just got to, you know, They do need to still run the ball a little bit better than they have, because you saw at one point they went away from Singletary after that fourth down, after that third and short stop. They kind of like they ran him a couple of times on the last drive to take the lead before the 13 seconds, because they knew they were going to go for it on all the downs. They're going to go for it on fourth down. They didn't care, but you know, oh come on, Timothy, that's bad number one D against bad competition. Come on, man. It's the NFL. I can take you a number of games. Just I'm sure they're fucking devastated, just as devastated as we are. I just don't get the not kicking a squib and then playing. Okay, prevent. You could have a guy like, you could have one guy 30 yards off the ball, but to have everybody so far off because you were afraid of getting run at, it was just kind of like, okay, like now looking back in hindsight, that's exactly what happened. They were scared that they were going to get run past again. That's all it was to me. Yeah, Tim, it's not good enough. You need balance there, Tim. And that's been all year, dude. He had a good end of the year, but they need a guy that can make some hard yards to calm a game down when you needed that third and short, a back with more pop. They need that. And Allen can't be their power back. Allen is good in spots. I love the run. I love what he adds, but they need a guy that can run behind his pads with size and knock somebody on their ass and get hard yards when they're required. They need that. Me and you both, Aaron. Football for me. I'm just here for the. I'm on to the off season, man. I'm on to the off season. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna read some of your comments. 17 years of garbage. The fact that they're so close is awesome. This team is, that kid has his veins, man. That to me was kind of this litmus test. It was just watching them. You know, watching the quarterback just kind of just become like this beast in front. Like, it's not that he wasn't good. It's not that we already knew he wasn't, but it was just like even more of a stamp. Like, hey, like I'm a fucking whole lot better than anybody has ever said. Not us Bills fans, but more national people, maybe more fans of other teams that listen to the narratives of the national people, that he's the shit. Like, look, I'm the shit, and I'm gonna show you that I'm the shit. Like, you know what? That's just the way it's gonna be. And he wanted it. He wanted that moment. When he got that ball with a minute 3 left, he was like, all right, we're gonna go. And they went. It was crazy. They were bracketing Diggs like fucking crazy. They were all over him like fly on shit. The whole defense just did not have a good game, man. Yeah, in these playoffs, Bowman, I think he definitely did. White looked like bowling pins today. It was the speed that shook him. Yeah, I firmly believe that. It's like when you get punched really hard by a great boxer, and maybe they clip you again, not quite as hard, and those feints, you start reacting to them harder and harder, because it's like, holy shit, like, and then he might see that and then might, feint you and then throw something else. It's kind of like that. It's that type of game. And they just, in hindsight, looking back, that's what I don't know who was back to return the kick. I'm not going to go back and watch that last sequence. I'm just not going to do it to myself, because that's like, I may as well just go in the closet and hang myself here, because I'm not going to watch that back. Yeah, I mean, still, Matt, you got 60 minutes, man. 60 minutes, man. You gotta play. Um, I still believe Eric Moulds holds the receiving yards record, but he has the touchdown record. I think he tied the touchdown record for 4 in a game. He tied it. I mean, Rice did it in the fucking Super Bowl but against Denver. And I just didn't understand the free releases. I just like play your regular package, your nickel, maybe even throw another DB in there, throw fucking Cam Lewis out there. Just, have at least just, one at 15, one at 10 yards, and then just make them earn it. Don't let them have free releases off the line. That's the only way to look at it, Tom. I mean, the only way to make your, I mean, it's a reality, it's a fact. It's not like we're just saying that to make ourselves feel better, yet we are, but it's the truth also. It's not a fallacy, it's real. Yeah, midnight, you'd be gutted, bro. You'll be gutted. If you know, it's you're gutted. I mean, people are going to talk about the tails or the heads. They just where was the squib kick? Did Bass get told the squib kick? McDermott looked like he was going to fucking cry at the end. I don't know, man. I don't know. What Diggs didn't. He caught the 2 point conversion. Even you could say the same for Emmanuel Sanders. He had one catch tonight. It was, Knox only had a couple of short catches. This was a Beasley Davis game. Yeah, and that's what happened. It's yeah, again, Doug, I don't know. I would have rushed too. I would have rushed too. I would have had Oliver, Epinesa, and Ruseo out there, and I just said just go, and I would have tried to keep everything in front of me, tackle in bounds, make them use their timeouts. Dalton did that. I'm not going to root for them with Burrow. No, nobody. I mean, the offense is, we know what it is. It's wow. I mean, I hated going through that. Oh, that sucked. I don't. Where were they at, Larry? I forget where they were out on the field. If it was down inside the 15, I can't remember. I don't know how you can properly prepare when both coordinators taking. I don't know. Like I think I don't think that had anything to do with it, man. I just think you had two good teams going toe to toe. One team got an extra possession, and the other team wasn't allowed to get one because those are the rules. But again, within that, there's a 60-minute game where a lot of stuff happened that got us to that point. So, I mean, it's a big picture thing. If they miss kicks, if they don't miss an extra point and a field goal, guess what? Nobody gets to overtime. The Bills are still down by one with the 2 point conversion, no? So if they don't get the 2 point conversion, KC goes down, kicks. It's just you get into a woulda, coulda, shoulda, what if game. You can do that with the whole fucking game, man. It's just crazy. I just don't get like just the no. For me, it's the no squib. And it was just playing so far off of them. That's those are the only ones I'll hit on. Where was the squib? It bounces off a guy, hit the clock's going to start. 13, 12, it's going to start. They're going to lose 3 to 4 to 5 seconds right off of that. Then it's down to them actually trying to just launch balls for like 40 yards, 50 yards, and then it's just odds of that happen are as minuscule as they get. It was the first drive of the second half. Yeah, they went 3 and out. That was the offense though, the Bills offense. You'll never be a casual Bills fan who's saying it's just never going to happen. Yeah, the quarterback is legit. Um, there's a lot of teams in this league that would love to have him. Maybe the only one is the team that they played tonight, but I don't know if there's another team in the NFL that wouldn't want that guy as their quarterback. Oh, fuck. They'll hurt no matter what, Matt. They'll hurt. They'll always hurt. They'll always hurt. No, you think a trophy is gonna make that the pain of them losing a game. Look how I acted when they lost. What was it? Week 9. They lose week 9 in Jacksonville, and I was as pissed. I mean, I'm pissed the same way when they lose, the same way I'm happy as fuck when they win. That's why if you follow me on social media, that's why I fucking, because wins are hard. Wins aren't easy. They're fucking grueling. They're emotionally taxing. I have to recover from this emotionally. This takes a lot out of me. But, you know, that's why I love it though. It's my high. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I never have. This is my dopamine. This is where I get it from. So yeah, for me, yeah, same Doug. I just those are the two things. Those are the two things. Like, where's the squib? What was the last sequence? I can understand you're playing it in the meat of the game, but that situation is a completely different situation given the time left on the clock and the score. You know what they need. They know what they need, and you just let them have it. Okay, that's fucking inexcusable to me. That's inexcusable to me. So that I'll you know, people forget something else about Peyton Manning. People will say a lot, and Bill Polian said this himself. He admitted this, that there was a he. I mean, maybe so much time passes that maybe people forget. I don't know. But if you look back at Peyton Manning's career, I believe it was circa around 2001, 2002. He was tagged as a guy that couldn't win. Like, he was tagged as he was in his 5th year. He hadn't won a playoff game yet. He hadn't won a playoff game yet. And he was already in his and he didn't make the playoffs. It took him to 2003 to win his first playoff game. So you're looking at 8, 9, 2000, 2001, 2002. So it took him into his 6th year to win a fucking playoff game. One playoff game. So, I mean, we got a kid that's already won 3, been to the playoffs for the last 3 straight years. That doesn't look like it's changing anytime soon. Plays like a stud in the fucking playoffs. I mean, he's getting better. Can you imagine he's getting better? I mean, people just constantly point to that Houston game. It's not the same quarterback. It's not even close. Again, like Steve, like that, playing those guys week 4 and then playing those guys in week 10, your defense's legs are heavy. You're running here, you're running there, and then those guys are track guys that are just coming. It's tough, man. They look even faster. Speed. That's why the whole saying "speed kills." It's the same thing, man. Same thing, Doug. Same thing, no doubt, man. You know, everything tomorrow sucks. Who's saying I fell on the floor? I just damn. No, that's what I thought, Vols. If they get the ball, they just kneel, whatever. So the squib doesn't matter. Um, but sometimes a guy can panic in real life. Like he can be like, "Oh shit, I got the ball. What the fuck do I do?" Um, you know, same thing. Same thing could be said for Rodgers too. It took him. He won his rather early, but it hasn't been good lately. And it's completely. If you watched last night, lethargic. He looked kind of just like going through the motions, like they were just I don't know, like they were just waiting to win the game. Like not they weren't trying to go win the game. It was like he was just waiting for them. We'll win. We'll just waiting for the clock to run out. We've got this, and it just he didn't look. He looked average. He looked average. Just no, just did not. That he just didn't look good. Oh, there's nothing for them to bump their chest about, Steve. What are they gonna say? I mean, like those losers, like, come on, they're losers. Like how I just don't understand like how you can be a yeah, same Parker. I thought honestly, like I thought he was gonna lead the team in touchdowns. He didn't, but man, did he show up tonight. I mean, you can go back and watch some of my old stuff. That guy's a fucking star, man. He's a star. Like he's a star in the making. Yeah, balls. That's what it comes down to. If you look back in the through the chapters of the season, it is this a Josh Allen slip in Tennessee and winning a game they should have won. I'll never say this team should have won in Jacksonville, and you're just sitting at home. And it's maybe it's a different game, maybe it's not a different game. But we'll see. You know, we'll see. Yeah, Bowman, he needs a back. He needs a bigger back that can take. I don't mind Motor. I love Motor. He played amazing at the end of the year, but they need a back that can thump a little bit. They really, really do. Of course it does, Doug. I mean, but that's why we go on this journey every year. We're going to go on this journey again now. It's 12 o'clock Monday, the 24th of January, 2022. We're on to 2022. It's the off season now for us, and it's all about this team getting better from this point on, personnel wise, coaching wise. So that's what it's about now. I don't give a fuck who wins a Super Bowl. I'll watch the games, but I don't really care. I'll just watch because I love the sport. But for me, it's all gears in that direction now. I don't have to hear from him, Luke, because I don't listen. Like seriously, guys, you can limit what you listen to. You can choose not to fucking do that. You can choose to do this. Just don't listen to these people. They're not worth your time. They know they're gonna say shit to get certain people ramped up and draw reactions. All they want is your clicks. All they want is your reaction, your comments. You help them with those things because then their company and then their people that charts all their media traffic socially sees that they pull certain numbers from their YouTube, they pull certain numbers from their Twitter, and that helps them. Ignore them. The best thing you can do is ignore these people. Don't give them your time. They say nothing, like none of them do actually. Like I'll hear like now that Dan Orlovsky's on ESPN, he's terrible. Like I don't like I used to like when he did his own thing, when he had his own little timeline on Twitter. Now it's him and I think Marcus Spears, and they got to sit there with that Mimi like that chick knows like maybe I'll sound like a sexist. That chick doesn't know shit about football. She don't know shit about football. When did she ever throw a football? When did she ever have to tackle somebody? It's like asking a chick. Ask yourself this question: how come there's no female boxing commentators or analysts? Do you know why? Because chicks don't get into fucking fights. Dead ass. They're not into They don't get into fights. What the fuck do they know? They don't know shit about fighting. So why would you listen to a chick talk about something you know she knows nothing about? But they have to fluff her up. They have to like, and so like I can't listen to them no more because they have to spend time like, oh yeah, great, great. Then they plug each other on Twitter. You can tell they like comment to each other, retweet. Just it's just all feeding the machine. Don't listen to them. Like I'm gonna unplug. My best advice to you guys is unplug. They might. Yeah, that's all it is, dude. It's disgusting. Like that's it, Vols. Perfect, perfect analogy. How you doing, Eric? It would be nice. I mean, Oliver really stepped up late in the year. He became kind of a force on defense, but they definitely still need one of these edge guys to do it. The 25th pick in the draft. All right, man. That's fuck it and make the best of it. Yeah, they're gonna say what they're gonna say. We all like for me, I watched the game. That's it. I don't need to hear 20 different people or 40 different people give their take on what I saw. Like I come in here, I talk with you guys, I listen to you guys, you listen to me. Sometimes I ask myself why you listen to me, but like to sit there and actually just do this and just spend at least even 20 minutes. It's like to me, it's mind numbing. Like I see the shit that they put on from Michael Irvin and Stephen A. Smith and that other asshole. What's that white guy's that really crusty cowboy fan motherfucker. Um, I forget why. I forget his name. If you say his name, I'll know. Um, Skip Bayless. It's terrible. I'm like, people watch this shit. Like all they do is sit there and have a pre-scripted, predetermined disagreement. I'm gonna play a character, you're gonna play a character, and we're just gonna hit off of each other, and people are gonna get off on it and even talk about it. But meanwhile, we were in the production room in the back talking about what we were gonna predetermine or have an argument about. It's so fucking inauthentic, and it's like I can't people actually take it seriously. It's not real sports talk at all. There's nothing tangible about the game. There's nothing. It's just hot take ideas, clickbait banter. That's all it is. It's bullshit. Yeah, that's it, Tom. It's time to hibernate to the end of the year. You know there's gonna be some balls. That's a good point. You know there's gonna be a receiver that's gonna be like, I want to go play with this fucking kid. And you know what? I want my numbers. He's gonna get them for me, and I'll take less to come here. Yeah, it's like they have little caricatures to play, little roles. Like I hate you, you hate me. Let's do this. I'll play this angry dude. I'll play this light. Come on, man, it's corny shit. It's like this guy. Apparently, like that guy, Wright, Nick Wright. He's like a Chiefs fan. So you're a Chiefs fanboy. Like it'd be like me being a Bills fanboy, and I'm gonna go on air and I'm gonna be a Bills fan. Like I can't not break character for that. I'm just not gonna do it. I'll give an honest assessment of what I saw. But if you're gonna like attack the team that I love and say fucked up shit, I'm gonna react to it. I'm not gonna stay shut. So I could never be on TV. I would never want to be really. Oh, it's a lot worse than you ever imagined, Matt. Living here for 40 years showed me what a scum pit that whole fucking place over there between. No, actually, fuck that. From Battery Park all the way up to 110th. from the East River to the Hudson. Phil, all the way probably over the Brooklyn Bridge to Park Slope. Showed me what a cesspool that place is. Skip Bayless. Tremaine is a strong side linebacker, not a true Mike. Yeah, there was a couple of times he made some plays. I mean, but it was a tough night for the whole defense, man. It was a tough night for the whole defense. It's greasy. I'm trying to read your comments, guys. I appreciate that, Larry. If you're talking about me, I appreciate that. I still remember when Skip said he'd take Murray. I mean, Murray was so scared of his own shadow. It's like Madden. Like I don't play Madden, right? But I obviously know about it. I hear about it. I know tons of kids that play it. Allen's only the seventh, eighth rated quarterback in the fucking game. He's got a toughness rating, and I don't know what toughness means in the game. His toughness rating is tied with Will Greer, who's a third string quarterback for the Cowboys. He's rated below Dak Prescott. He's tied with Kyler Murray. He's rated below Lamar Jackson. We all know in the real world what is and isn't. So that's why when I talk about television and video games, that's not the real fucking world. That's the land of make believe. Those people are playing characters. They're playing parts. They're not. They're if they're like that in real life, that must fucking suck. All right, Hussein, have a good night, bro. Love y'all, man. Oh, we'll catch up when it comes off season. I'm that's my drug, so that's where I'm at right now on the 2020, man. Dane played a hell of Dane filled in great for Trey. I'm not gonna slight that kid one bit. He made an amazing tackle. I forget who he got. I think it might have been Hardman or McKendrick, but McKendrick he fucking they held him to a field goal there, so I got to give it to him on that one, man. I really do. I do like listening to Stephen A. rip on the Cowboys. I don't hear him, so I mean, he said too it was about. Oh God, again, these people they do too much blow. Like seriously, they do a lot of coke, and they generally have drinking problems. Yeah, I mean, I think they realized that Utz after that 1-4 after that 1-3 and out, they went to the pass game, and plus the score being what it was. But then they hit the bomb to Davis. They dripped. The main part of the running game was him. Yeah, again, but even him like they have the old Thomas. They have the old thing with the hot takes exposed. These guys change their tune like the weather. They're never consistent. I remember when Cowherd loved Darnold. Darnold turned out to be just average, below average, right? My whole point is it's like I just dumped on Kyler Murray, right? This is just part of Kyler Murray's story. It was his first playoff game. He got fucking overwhelmed. He didn't have his best wide receiver. Maybe he comes out, he learns from it, and he plays better his next time out if he makes it, right? That's fair. Let these kids' careers evolve and we just kind of watch and talk about it after the fact. Let's not make all these crazy proclamations about this kid sucks. I do like he's I only reason I am the way I am with Allen because I see the double standard like we all have. So the day he was drafted, people openly rooted for him to fail. Anytime he made a mistake, it was put on blast times 10. Meanwhile, we watched like 15 other quarterbacks make the same mistakes, and it was just like, meh, meh. He was he was on the street. He was a street free agent, dude. Because he got released from the 49ers because of all those injuries. Thomas, don't ask me. I have no clue. Yeah, Doug, it's just they're insane. They're just they like those people. Like, okay, I already know you don't know shit about what you're watching, so you you're good. I had to ask some so-called Chiefs fan the other day. I'm like, he was, pounding his chest, Chiefs, Chiefs, Chiefs. So when I see him next, he'll have this interaction that me and him had in the memory bank. I'm just like, oh, so you're a Chiefs fan? I'm like, how long? Oh, long time ago, long time. I'm like, okay, okay, I'll be nice. Your last 5 starting quarterbacks. Oh, I ain't trying to know all that shit. I'm like, what do you mean you're not trying to know? You can't tell me? Who are they? He said, oh, we got Mahomes. I'm like, all right, before Mahomes. He got Alex Smith, and then he didn't know anything else. I was like, okay, you forgot Matt Castle. You had a little Brady Quinn for a few games. Brody Croyle, Damon Heward, Trent Green. So I just really started rattling them off like a lot. And then I'm like, come on, man, don't try to come at me with like all kinds of shit talk like you're a true fan and you can't even name these fucking dudes. Then I asked him Joe Montana's last start. It was with the Chiefs against the Bills in the AFC Championship game of 2003. He didn't know that. I mean, this is the guy my age, so I just don't like when people are frauds. Yeah, man, he looked the way he walked off that field though, he looked like he's just going to let that shit in his own way get him like there ain't going to be no more fuck ups. Yeah, Steve, he was 100%, man. 100%. I'm going to read some of your comments, guys. Yes, Tremaine. I mean, again, the defense as a whole did not have a good day. So to single one guy out is kind of like it's just it's a fool's errand, you know, because nobody tackled well. The speed shook them. Just to a man, the speed shook them. That's what it was at the end of the day. Yeah, Steve, he is, and that's the only thing. And I would implore you guys to use the same. It's like that guy's our quarterback for the next 15 years. That guy. We're gonna be here again. So I'm not going nowhere. I know you guys in here, if you're in here, you ain't going nowhere. This ride is for life. They win a chip, they get some hardware. I'm gonna be on the ride again. I'm going for seconds. You will too. So remember that. It's not a one and done. I win one Super Bowl and I could chill. They need to get to the game to get it. This wasn't their time, but I feel like their time will be soon from what we saw tonight. I'm gonna read some of your comments, guys, because you guys are dogs. You guys are savages in this room right now, filling the comments, filling, a little bit of midnight therapy, but that's what we do, right? Got to be here for each other. We had about 5 plays where one of our D linemen had a hand. Yeah, man, it was tough. I mean, there's plays like that with Allen too, Vols, where he gets hands, he bounced off. Remember the one play where he ran, was it a 4th and 3 or a 4th and 4? He had that was a crazy play. It was the play right before the Davis touchdown that he made. Like, holy shit. I mean, how do you feel as a defensive player? I mean, if you don't get in his grill and get him down and he's able to start herky-jerkying around, that's what happens, and those ad-lib plays happen. And as the defense, there was a few plays where the defense had some bracket coverage and Mahomes had to eat the ball, threw a ball away. He ran out of bounds. He scrambled for like 2 yards. So there was plays baked in there that the defense held down. It was like one where it was like they were covered for like 8 seconds. He had nowhere to go with the ball. But then there's others, they started running across the field, and it's damn near impossible to run 30, 35 yards across the field with ain't nobody in the world could do it. So it's tough, man. Yeah, the tackle Dane had saved the game, because if they score a touchdown there, they're up 11, and that's pretty much good fucking night. They're good night if they go up 11. Dane saved the game right there, because they ran the ball 3 times. They tried that little trick play. It was a 3rd and 1. It was, remember, Kelsey under center, boom. They didn't bite. They didn't knew he wasn't going to throw. and he 4-yard loss. Yeah, dude. And another thing too, it's never Vols, it's never more evident during the off season because they're just making shit up. They make up rumors, they make up draft rumors. It's just spin the rumor mill. Like you can go back like in the old takes exposed and see these guys know like I'm just going to talk about something, and if it has no legs or it doesn't, it's going to get me attention. So I'm going to talk about it. I had one guy, I was in his presence. He works in media. I won't say his name. And he was talking to a few people, and I was in the group, and he said, "Oh, I'm not best for what team A or B. I don't care about team A or B." Like people get it twisted. They all think we're there rooting for a guy or for a player. No, we're rooting for what's best for conversation. That's what we care about. So what's best for conversation is what I root for. I don't care if team A or team B wins or does it just doesn't matter to me as long as I get to generate the amount of attention that I need. That's what they said. And I was like, not that they need to be fanboys or anything like that or go on there with pom poms, but it was just kind of like, he pretty much told you right there. That's what they do. I'll read some of your comments, guys. When it's too tough for them, it's just right for us. Way worse, man. Way worse. Me too, Thomas. Me too. Dude, you forgot somebody, Matt. You forgot a few names. There was a guy, and he took a few snaps in a game for the Bills way back in the early 2000s. He wore number 5. He gets lost in the shuffle, dude. He gets lost in the shuffle, but I'll always remember he took a few meaningless snaps in a game back in 2000 and the early 2000s. Maybe some of you hardcores will remember Travis Brown. I remember Travis fucking Brown. You forgot Jabron Hamden too. He never took a snap in a game. He just did like media shit for the Bills. Ugh. They're not going to fire him, Neil. It's not going to happen. It's just there's just. I think they're looking for at midnight. They're looking for an offensive guy with New York. So I would say that he's more likely to end up with Daboll. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think Daboll's going to get a job. Off the strike that tonight, I think Daboll's going to get a job. Oh man, this ain't coming off. This don't come off, baby. I'll be rocking my Bills like my thing tomorrow to the gym. Everybody I know their teams are out, so it's just like there's Jets fans, Giants fans, and some Viking fans there. They're all good dudes though. Me and you both, Steve. Me and you both, dude. But at the end of the day, I had to calm down because I was like, okay, there's still time left. So, yep. Oh God, he's that cockeyed son of a bitch. And I love how he occasionally he'll tweet political stuff, and it's such hack tweets. It's like he has to tweet that how much he hates racists, and I'm like, who do you know that goes around and says they like them? Like, I'd love to meet these imaginary people that they tweet about, like these combines of race. I've never met them. I really haven't. They must fucking you know what it is I just think it's funny with the media. I just think it's a real pernicious and they're so used to lying. It's almost like there's no off switch for them. They're constantly on the stage, whether it's on their timeline or in front of a camera. He's atrocious. He knows nothing. I don't think you fire Dable, but he goes. Yeah, I mean, if he goes, he goes. That's what's just going to happen. Everybody wants to hold his fat to the fire tonight, and rightfully so. Um, but it's on the players, though, man. You gotta say the players. Pretty much, Doug. You know, they don't have to work for a living. They don't work for a living. What do they do? They don't do shit. Billy Joe. No, it was Travis Brown. Holbert was 97. Steve. I'm gonna read some of your comments, guys. Tool time. Yeah, he had Tool in there. He had Tool. I think he might have had Matthews, but you definitely missed Travis Brown. He got lost in that muck. But I mean, I remember him for number 5, Travis Brown. I'll watch a little bit, Eric, but I'm not gonna sit here and I'll wait for the season. To for me, it's just about the off season now, just what they're gonna do within the building, how they tinker with the roster. That's what they're gonna do, man. That's what you got to do, midnight. That's what you do. That's what we do. I remember the last time the Bills won a Super Bowl. I was in high school, and I still wore the AFC Championship shirt to the school the next day after they lost to Dallas, 30-13. I still wore it, and I had a few people like, "Oh shit, I can't believe you're wearing that," and I'm like, "Fuck out of here! I'm here for life." And I was a young kid, but I knew, I'm like, you know what? And that was the one thing I said. It's like a lot of you fucks will be fans of different teams 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I'll be a Bills fan till they put my ass in the ground. So that's the difference between me and you. Like, this just ain't about a moment where I can pound my chest and no, this is a life thing. That's what it is for me. It's a life thing. This isn't a momentary thing, an annual thing, a bi-yearly thing. No, this is life. So that's my level of commitment. Yeah, he pretty much did, Kevin. Holy shit. No, not Levi Brown. Levi Brown was 2010. He never threw a pass. It was. I'm gonna put his. His thing in the so you could see he's a real person. I'm not making him up. Travis Brown. We actually had a wide receiver that was named Antonio Brown too. And in 2002, in the preseason, he returned 2 punts for touchdowns, and I think he made the roster for a minute and then got cut. So I remember him too. Yeah, man, they played well, Luke. So it's kind of like the whole unit played pretty well, and we have a rookie right tackle, a pretty much a rookie left guard, but he's been in the league, but his first full time starting, he Ryan Bates held up excellent. Let's see if they have a great GM, they have a good coach, the players that they draft. I mean, they have a profile, and they have a profile of player that they like, and they have the type of team, the type of culture that they've built. Guys can just come in, and there's no pressure for them to be the panacea like there used to be. Back in the day when the Bills would bring a guy in, whether it be free agency, particularly the draft, it was always like, this guy has to be the end all be all, or we're fucked. It didn't matter what position it was. Remember when it was Sammy Watkins? Sammy Watkins had to come save EJ Manuel from himself. Marcel Darius has to help turn around this defense, this run defense. Then Mario Williams had to do this, so on and so forth. I mean, CJ Spiller has to help Trent Edwards revive his career. It was just, the list goes on. It's not that way anymore. They just have to come be a part of the program and develop themselves and help the Bills win games in any little way that they can until they can get their feet on the ground and take off. Well, I think they need to let their young players play. I mean, Addison and Hughes at their age are likely gone. Levi's been great all year. Um, they played very, very well. It's just, again, the 2 games they had their worst passing. This is the 2 worst passing days they've had. Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, if you want to get the blowtorch out because your defense had a bad day against those 2 guys, I mean, I'm pissed. For me, it's the last 13 seconds of the game. That's what it comes down to. Don't you can be sick, Steve. I thought I read slice. Yeah, they're both free agents, like Doug says. Um, Thomas Smith was a great corner, dude. People forget about Thomas Smith was a really good corner. Sam Cowart was on his way to being a great linebacker until he got hurt, and then that ended his career pretty much. He was not the same player. Went on to Minnesota for a minute, but he wasn't the same. Angelo Crowell, the same thing. He had the microfracture surgery on his knee in a practice in 2008, and he was done. He just was not the same player ever again. But Wallace has been great all year. And again, a lot of teams aren't going to throw that caliber of speed on the field all at once and that quarterback at you. And I know we know the Bills can beat this team. We've seen it. It's not like KC is some unclimbable mountain. So everybody who's talking like that and thinking like that is insane. We've got the quarterback, right? And I feel like we have the coach, we have the GM who's young, who's aggressive, who we've seen was ready, willing, and able to make a splash. And they have the kind of organization where you can walk into a room now and get the respect needed to hash out these deals and get them done properly, where you're not getting raked and held over a barrel like in years past, where you got to have Mario Williams hanging out at Jim Kelly's house for a fucking week before he'll actually put pen to paper. You look like embarrassing because he's begging other teams to just give him a little bit more money and he'd leave. Has to tell the organization to put electricity in his locker while the other players don't have it. I mean, that's where they used to be, So, I mean, I just trying to talk you guys off ledges here because you're all level-headed guys. You're not idiots like me who breaks mirrors and stuff. But this team's going to be there. This team is going to be there for a long time. Yo, you remember him, huh, Matt? Oh, okay, TJ. So Fred was your hero. Like me, a lot of some of the old heads, it's like we come in and there's like we don't realize, okay, there's fucking 5 Hall of Famers on the team. Completely different. But I will say this to all the young Bills fans out there. I've watched, forget just Jim Kelly as a Bills quarterback. Elway, I've seen Peyton Manning all of his career, Brett Favre all of his career, a good chunk of Joe Montana's career, a good chunk of John Elway's career, Steve Young, pretty much all of his career once he started, because you remember he didn't start till he was 30. All of Kurt Warner, all of Tom Brady, the list goes on. We have a dude. We got a guy. Make no fucking mistake about it now. We got a dude. We got a guy. Under center who gets the ball in his hand every play. We've got a killer. That kid, he's a baby-faced fucking assassin. It's no, make no mistake about it. And yeah, Eric, I think they'll want to come. I think we're going to see a receiver want to come play with that kid this offseason. The same way Emmanuel Sanders, we're going to see a receiver want to come and get some of that. I just, you know what? They need to tinker with the roster. They don't need to overhaul the roster, Steve. Everybody wants to fire people right now. Everybody wants to move this guy and that guy. That's some knee-jerk stuff, very emotionally driven, emotive responses. I get it. I'll talk about the last 13-second sequence, but when you realize what we were watching, when you were watching two great quarterbacks go back and forth at each other, there's really nothing the other defense could do. There's nothing there. You know what I mean? There's really nothing KC's defense could do. There was nothing. I mean, the Bills again, and you're without an All-Pro corner. You're without a Pro Bowl corner, an All-Pro corner who they've been without for 8 weeks, and they played great. They played great. So I mean, they've have young players on their roster. They're going to play a lot more now. Ruseo is going to play a lot more. Epinesa, Basham, Oliver took a big step. You can't say that Oliver didn't start taking a step at the second half of this year. He really looked like a guy. And he had a sack tonight. I'm a little disappointed in the linebacker unit. I'm not going to lie. I felt like Milano was caught out of position a little bit. Just the tackling overall was not good. Again, it's just the speed. And the speed coming at you just does something. Read some of your comments, guys. Yeah, again, everybody's gonna want to. It's this. Yeah, man. I just wish the kid could be celebrating a victory tonight, Steve. It's crazy. Essentially, we had 2 game winning touchdowns and still lost it. It happens, man, and it's unfortunate. We're on the other side of it. He's a babyface fucking assassin, Luke. Dead ass. That's what he is. You know what? I think Midnight. You just don't hand it over to the guy in line. Sometimes new voices are good. Sometimes shaking it up is good. I mean, when Ted Marsha-Broda left to go coach KC, I'm sorry, KC, Indianapolis, the offense didn't miss a beat. You always got to remember they're not taking McDermott, they're not taking Bean, and they're not taking Allen. I mean, I've seen the Bills lose, and everybody also. Dan Morgan, who was in the GM, he went to be Carolina's GM, but he's not a full blown shot caller there. The owner has a heavy stick, and the coach has a little bit of say, not as much, but he's got a little bit because of his contract. But when people are wanting, your guys, that's a good thing. So I mean, I'm sure McDermott, as thorough and detailed as he is, has a short list, 10 deep of dudes that he would want. Yeah, the facility's great. They're not an injured team. They take care of their players. They're a team that's known for taking very, very good care of their players in season and the off season. They don't run them into the ground. They have a good their reputation around the league that was sullied for so long, self-inflicted, unfortunately for us, but for them it was of their own doing. It's no longer existent. That reputation's gone, Pacific, in terms of that. I don't know what the hell that was, man. Yeah, I just don't. If they lose Dable, that's an if right now. Would it shock me? It doesn't shock me. If they upgrade Midnight, because he's a free agent. He's a free agent. You know what I mean? He's a free agent. So shit. You know what? That'd have been a good strategy. I didn't even think of that. Just take the 5-yard holding penalty. Say okay, but you got to take this. The seconds have to come off too. That's what. Fuck it. Was tonight where I mean they're both bad, man. It's worse because it's now. The Music City Miracles 22 years ago. I mean, so much. That's a lifetime for some YouTubes, man. Dude, again, that they're gonna. I'll tell you this, Midnight. They like small school corners, and I know he went to Bama, and I know Trey went to LSU. They like small school corners. There's a kid that's going to play at the Senior Bowl, either this weekend or next weekend. I never even heard the fucking school he went to, but they like him a lot, and he's not a first round corner. But they, little bit I heard, they like that kid. What was that, Doug? I've said so much. I just you can refresh my memory. Yeah, there's plenty of dudes, and those guys, their schemes are different, man. Maybe Doug might have a history with McDermott from Philly, from Philly, definitely not KC, but you never know because guys develop relationships that we don't see, all the time. So there's shit. Look at Butler. I didn't know Butler and McDermott had a relationship, but apparently it went back to like the days of like Philly before either one of them were in pros. Like he was an intern somewhere and Butler was there. That's how they ended up knowing each other. He's the DB coach now because of it. Yeah, Tehran turned out really well. Saran Neal, um, yeah, hold them on purpose. Yeah, that was. I never thought about that strategy. I don't know. I'd have to find out how that would work. Anytime you get in, dude, it's anytime any shot is a shot. I mean, that same Titan team was down to beat that greatest show on turf team. They came within 3 yards of it. Was it Mike White tackling Kevin Dyson? That they were right there to win that game. You're telling me the Bills weren't just as good as that team? They had just as good a chance to win as this. Tennessee went and beat the shit out of the Colts in the RCA Dome the next week. They'll get they'll get a couple of players midnight that would definitely come for a slightly little bit less. I'll just say that. Got to scroll back because everybody's really doing a number in here. Yeah, Doug, I got it now. I was confused. I'm like, yeah, hold him, give him could you exchange the time though? I'm not sure. Sometimes the refs could say set the clock here. They would have to if they wanted to take the penalty. Is important. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain guys I know that are not going to be here next year. Beasley has a high cap number in terms of the money that they could get. Feliciano's not going to be here next year. Mitch Morse might be here this might be his last year. Emmanuel Sanders is likely gone. Hughes is probably gone. Mario Addison. So there's going to be, again, when you have a really good team, guys, because I try, this is one thing I do chart. Bad teams, like let's just say the lower end echelon teams in the league, they'll have roster turnover of 20 to 25 deep. Everybody says change everybody. That's real easy to say. But in a cap system, it's damn near impossible. Now, when you have injuries and stuff like that, yeah, you're going to use a lot of players and stuff. I remember when the Bills did the whole McDermott transition, they had about like 24 new players. That's a lot. And it's not like those 24 players, think of it in these terms. Now you're on the 46. So that's already half. That's already over half the roster. Knew this, knew that, knew this. And there was some holdovers like Tyrod and Kyle and Eric and Shady. There was some holdovers there. Richie, but there was a lot of newness also, a lot. That was for a what everybody considered a tanking team. When you have a good football team, again, Kevin, it may or may not be. I don't know yet. Star's number. I don't know if they move on yet. But when you're talking about a team like this, and you're looking at roster spots, legitimate, you're looking at Now the Bills have been good for hitting on undrafted free agents. I will say that. And if you can get one of those guys, Reggie Gilliam, that guy's he's a player now for the Bills. That guy is a legit player for the Bills as a fullback. He's an undrafted free agent. Plays on the game day roster always. All four special team units, starting fullback, you name it. You can hit on one of those. That's amazing. Ryan Bates was an undrafted free agent for the Philadelphia Eagles. Bills traded Eli Harold for him. Look at him now. You know what I mean? Eli Harold was cut by Philly like 2 weeks after the trade. So when you're looking at a roster like this, realistically, there's going to be anywhere between 9 high end, 12 new faces. High end. And those guys, look what happens to like Basham on the inactive. Like you really have to earn your way onto the field with this team. This shit isn't just going to be like, okay, you're our first round pick, you're in. No, I mean, it's going to be a tough one to make. Oh, and the rosters go up 50. Remember, 55 next year. So it's going to be a 55-man roster, 48 active on game day. What did Al do, Doug? I didn't see. I was too busy talking. Yeah, midnight. It's probably going to be like, because if you cut Beasley, you save like 6.5. That's a lot. I mean, I wouldn't want to see him go, but it's at the end of the day, man. Yeah, Marlboro, man, it's tough. Yeah, the Kevin, that again, you make sage trades like that, you do little things like that. I mean, you have players like Gilliam, you have player. I mean, look at Justin Zimmer. Until he tore his ACL. That guy was starting. That guy was a stud. That guy had Harrison Phillips on the bench, and then Harrison steps up his play, and because he wants it. That's what I was talking about with the Bills have a certain profile of player that even when you get sat down, you still have the wherewithal to step up and want to play and earn it back. And you just don't fold and crumble. Look at Isaiah McKenzie, had that god awful fumble brain fart against Indy. Then he comes back and has the kind of game he did in Foxborough and makes several other plays after that. So you got to have that. Otherwise they don't want you on the team. You won't be a Bill for long. No, it's all good, man. I was just curious what do you do? It's all good, bro. Oh, you still here, Al? You still with us, bro? Thanks for being there. Man, we're therapy for each other, dude. It's just anybody who watched that game knows knows that kid's gonna be around for a really long time. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the other channels do. I don't really care what they do. If they're Bills fans, that's cool, but I just don't like the whole trying to poach your so-called fellow fans for money, like just so you can chat with them. Because I found out that's what the super chat thing is about. I'm not beef for that stuff. I don't want you guys don't owe me shit to talk about football. Fuck out of here. That's insane. So and I'm the oldest one. I'll have those two. I'm the oldest one. You ain't gonna find one older than mine. None of them have one older than mine. Yeah, man. Midnight. You know, it's gonna go one or two ways. It's gonna be the L. I mean, just the way it ended. It's just really really sucks. Yeah, Doug, he's not. That's the thing is he's gonna start the next year on PUP. I have to stress that Trey is not gonna start the season for the Bills. It'll probably be if it's Levi, it's Levi, but Dane Jackson will probably be the starter on one of those two positions unless they find another dude. So It's everybody. I mean, I see Twitter. It's turned into an absolute cesspool. I mean, it's usually what it is after a game like this. If the way things go. Yeah, man. You were around commenting then. I remember that game. Yeah, I don't like it, man. Like I don't like. I mean, I don't. I mean, from a standpoint, if they want to do it, have at it. Go ahead. And if people want to like actually pay them to hear them talk, who am I to like tell people how to not spend their money? But in good conscience, like I'm a Bills fan. I want to talk to other Bills fans. It's like I'm gonna hold out the fucking collection jar and say, "Here, give me something so I can talk to you about something I'm passionate about." Fuck out of here. To me, that's crumb snatcher shit, man. That's crumb snatcher shit. I don't like that. I'll tell them I don't like that either. Like I was like that. I think that's shady. I question your fanhood if you do that. Do you think that? Hell, fucking yeah, Neil. That's you want to talk about that? Okay, we'll have it that. Why is everybody playing fucking 20 yards off in the last 13 seconds? All right, that's a completely different situation. It's not like you're in the third quarter, minute, whatever. There's still a whole rest of the game to be played. That is it. Kill switch. You finish that right there instead of just being like, they need a field goal. They know they need a fucking field goal. They're going to play for the field goal. They're not going to try. I mean, if they could have scored a touchdown, obviously they would, but the likelihood of that is like minuscule as fuck. So they needed to play that situation, obviously, palpably different than what they did. They're definitely going to draft. Okay, I'll tell you the kid's name. I forgot to tell you the kid's name. Now, I've never heard of this fucking school. I have never heard of this school in my life. Never heard of it. I'm like, what the fuck? Is that even like they actually have a football program? I don't know if it's like fucking shit. I want to even see what division it is. Because I think it's like low division two. I think it's low division two. Let me see. It is division two. It is division two. I knew it. Is it in, is I think it's in Tennessee. It's in Arkansas. Oh wow. It's in Arkansas. Gregory Jr. Gregory Jr. That's his name. They love that kid. They love him. Oh, Alchetta Baptist University. It sounds like some made up shit from a movie. Alchetta Baptist University. Never heard in my life. I'm like, okay, that's the kid they like. I trust them because they like small school DBs. They loved Duggar. They loved Duggar. Duggar came from a Lenore Ryan is a really fucking small school, tiny as hell. They never had a player drafted ever. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that, man. I read that. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you. You see our opponents next season. We play. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Eric, you play who you play. Those teams are going to go through overhauls too. A lot of those teams are going to look different too. You know what I mean? They're not going to be the same teams as they are. That you know what I mean? So you play the games on paper. Can't play the games on paper, guys. We know we have a good organization and we have a great quarterback, and we have a head coach that he was aggressive tonight. He went on fourth down. He did it on the first drive to set the tone. They win a bunch on fourth down when they had to, and they hit them. So, I mean, again, I just I can't stress that enough. Just got to talk ourselves off ledges before we start firing people here or wanting people fired. 20 yards the last play. Bulls. Yeah, it was crazy. I was being nice though. They're 20 yards, 20, but their back pedal, once they go into their back pedal, it's like, for me, I'm not moving. I'm like, you have to come at me. And then once you get like within like 8 yards of me, maybe I might take one step, but I'm not gonna fucking move. I wouldn't be that far back anyway. Because I think they were afraid that they were gonna get run past because Hill ran past them. They had the ankles on Hill. That 164-yard touchdown, he ran across the field. He caught it right on Levi. Levi stretched out, didn't get the tackle. They were all there. He just ran past them. And not and what other NFL team has a caliber of player like that can do that? Not many. And they have Hardman too, who's just almost as fast. Hill is an Olympic athlete. He's a piece of shit person, but he's the best track athlete I've ever seen play football in my life. And I saw James Jett and Willie Galt, who went to the Olympics. I think for the 200 meter and 100 meters. And I think one was on the I think Galt was on the relay team too. The 400. Hill had his head on straight. He could have qualified for the Olympics. But he's a football player. That all that stop and start, being able to be hit, those guys are just straight line runners. This guy is he's a different beast. Yeah, Alchetta Baptist. I've never heard of it, Doug. Who's calling the defense at the end? I have no clue, man. I'd like to think they're both talking to each other. They have to be. They have to be. That was just not a good. That was just not a good. I said prevent defenses prevent you from doing one thing: winning. Hey, Oates, yeah, appreciate you, man. You're not in for personal gain. And when we come in and talk about team without having to buy, I mean, why would I want? I mean, have a good one, Oates. Take care, man. I don't know, I can believe it because it's real. And one thing I can tell you guys don't keep watching that shit back. Don't do that to yourself. If you want to watch the game, watch some of the great things Allen did just to make us, do it. Don't watch that last 13 seconds back. The outcome will not change. Like I knew a guy in a boxing gym many years ago. When Mike Tyson lost, he was in such disbelief. I just remember him. He had this clip. It was a VCR. He finally got the tape. That guy sat there for 3 hours, like one day, just like a zombie. And he's like, and he just kept saying, "I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened. This can't be right." And he was like thinking, like through osmosis, like somehow what he was watching was going to change. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourselves. Midnight Frazier runs the defensive schemes, but he doesn't together. Well, last year the offense really didn't show up, so it's kind of hard when they're playing downhill. There was some turnovers in there midnight last year. The offense didn't turn over the ball once. They didn't get any turnovers on defense this year. Yeah, man, speed kills, dude. It just does. And again, when he doesn't have that level of speed, and then you've got a Hall of Fame tight end, like Hall of Fame tight end. I mean, everybody's talking about like again, Knox was like it was Knox wasn't a big part of the game. Diggs wasn't a big part. It was a Davis Beasley game. And that's kind of speaks to one of the great qualities of Allen is he doesn't need like he's gonna go to anybody. He's gonna go to anybody and everybody. You're open, he's gonna throw you the fucking ball. And if you got his trust, he's really gonna throw you the ball. He doesn't like fixate on one dude, like, oh, I gotta get this dude is you know. Yeah, the kid's been taken away from him, man. That kid's been taken away from both of them. I think he's in DYFS or DHS, one of those two things. It's DYFS around here. Jay Barkley, one quick. I'll watch this whole video later. I love the videos. Gabriel Observe. Yeah, man. I'll say the coaching was to the execution was bad on the defensive side of the ball. Say just fundamentally the tackling was not good, and playing that situation I think was a byproduct of them because there was two plays in particular. They were both touchdowns. One was a Hardman run. He got the ball on the sideline, looks like he's going to go out of bounds, stop. He sees the Bills defense just relax a second, and then he's out. He books ghetto fast, just like boom, like Popo turned on the lights. That motherfucker was down the block. He was a ghost. You didn't see him no more. It's exactly what happened. Hill, that's just scary shit. That's just like Olympic dudes shooting across the field. He turns the corner. They have the angle on him, and he still ran past them. Why didn't he get? You know what's funny to me? They were all hot to trot about these fucking taunting penalties. He didn't get a wave bye taunting penalty on that. I noticed that. I'm like, no taunting penalty. No, not that I care. I think it's bullshit. I think they should let the guys do it, but they didn't throw the flag there. Tom Brady got a taunting penalty for yelling at a ref early in the game in the day. That I thought that was bullshit, but yeah, man, what can you do? Allen can't play. No, he can't. I mean, he calls heads instead of tails. We're having a different conversation right now, man. We really are. We're talking about two great quarterbacks going toe to toe, back and forth. And on any given Sunday like that, it's just gonna be fucking. It's gonna be hell. Yeah, watch that one, Steve. There was a lot of great moments in this game for the Bills, though, for Allen. So I wouldn't totally dismiss one, man. Yeah, man, that's perfect, Jay Barkley. Just they need to get a freak to match Allen's freakness. Kelsey Kelsey is a freak. He's a Hall of Fame tight end. Hill's a freak. Allen needs a freak. That's basically it. Um, Yeah, man, but the same Jay they had Allen too a couple of times and he gets out. These great quarterbacks that have a little bit of this they have that mobility, they have that slipperiness, and you're trying not to hit him in the head, you're trying not to grab the face mask. You don't know if they'll call rough on the passer if you go down around his ankles to grab him. You have 300 plus pound men pushing on you. It's just it's a it, it's a sticky game to play in that sense. There was times they had him, but he got out. He got out. I just think our young players need to play more, Neil. That's what I think. I think our young players need to play more. Nah, I don't know, Trevor. It's too early to tell. I mean, Daboll's still the offensive coordinator, so yeah, dude, you went wave bye bye. I don't care. Like for me, I like let the players show emotion. You know what I mean? But like, oh, you're not gonna throw because I saw them do it early in the season. I'm like, what? No 15-yard penalty? That'd have been huge. But the Bills went down and scored, but still, it was just a completely different. I just thought it was very crazy. Yeah, if we're counting, I mean, there's the inconsistency of that. Um, I have there was offsetting penalties. They would move back 5 yards. No, I think a penalty like that is a 15-yarder. You can choose to take it on the extra point, or you can choose to take it on the kickoff. I would have pushed the extra point back because Bucker's missed a lot. I mean, he missed one tonight, and he's missed a lot of extra points. That's what I would have done, but that didn't happen. You wouldn't consider Diggs a freak? No. I mean, I think he's really, really good, but we're talking about like freaks. Like again, I just said Hill is an Olympic. He's the best track athlete I've ever seen play football. When I tell you the guy could go to like Olympic speed is different than the fastest NFL guy. Now I mean, like for example, didn't like at 40 years old, Usain Bolt ran a four. He couldn't play football. He couldn't juke and move the same way Tyreek Hill can, but in a straight line, running away from, he's going to run away from everybody. Nobody's going to catch him. He fucked around and just that thing ran like what he run like a 4.24 40. He just was without his good running shoes either. It's insane. That's insane. No, he's a very good receiver. We're talking about like Barkley's saying, like I know that kid tore his ACL in the national championship game, but that kid's gonna slip a little bit. Jamison Williams, that guy's a bit of he's got some freaky quality. Treylon Burks has some freaky qualities. So again, I'm sure Bean's aggressive. He's ahead of all of us guys. Trust me, I'm sure he's thinking the same thing. I don't think he's not thinking anything we're thinking. You know what I mean? If he's gotten us this far, right? He took a chance on Allen, and all of us, maybe to a man, flamed him for it. I know I did. He's gotten us this far. I mean, I could have never envisioned Allen doing what he did tonight. Ever in my, like, I would have had a gun to my head. I'd be a dead man right now because I would have said, "You're fucking crazy. There's no way that kid's gonna do this," and he did. The play not talked about would have changed everything tonight was Pringle. Oh yeah, Vols. Oh, there was one right there. There was another one too when they had a screen set up. There was a screen set up and it fucking and I thought they read it. I'm like, "Oh shit, they read it." They didn't bite, but for some reason it still went for like 9 yards. I'm like, "How the fuck they stopped? They were there prepared for it." And they let him go, but that one, oh my god. That one would have been massive. I mean, come on. Again, no turnovers tonight, Vols. So it was brutal. When you don't get a turnover, when you don't turn over, you got to turn over that team. That's a team you have to turn over and you have to score a touchdown off of it. Otherwise, your chances of winning are going to be tough. They were just gassed at that point, Neil. Again, when your week 4 legs compared to your week 19 legs are completely different, man. Completely different. OJ didn't qualify for the Olympics. Canadian. He was not a. Bob Hayes was an Olympic runner. He was a wide receiver for the Cowboys, and he's a Hall of Fame player. But Tyreek Hill is the greatest track athlete I've ever seen play football. I mean, Herschel Walker was the Olympic bobsled, and he was a very good athlete. You know, the best athletes I've ever seen on a football field. Bo Jackson, uh, Herschel Walker was pretty amazing, and Deion Sanders, definitely one of the most amazing athletes I've ever seen on a football field. Just he to look like that on a field full of guys that are that caliber. It's you're different. Barry Sanders too. I mean, in terms of just all the highlights and stuff, one of the most. But we're talking about pure speed. Those guys definitely. Yeah, man, they had him right there at the one. Right there at the one. And he's a rookie, Barkley. He's a rookie. Dude, I was just emotionally like, because I thought I'd be in here doing something completely different. You know, to go from there to there, that's just jury's still out on Rousseau. Yeah, they're young dudes, man. They're young dudes. You know, I think they can both get better because I've seen them get better playing the run too, because that's a responsibility of the defensive end. You could end up like Yannick Ngakoue. He can rush the passer, but he has no interest in playing the run. You can just let him run himself out of a play every time. He's just going to run past you, and we just run right into the C gap, right where he vacates every time. Do you think? Yeah, I mean, I think you lose a quality dude. It hurts, Trevor. It's like I think he's somebody that Bean relies on, but I'm sure Bean has his own thoughts and his own opinions and will have a guy in place that he has the same feelings about. Hell, they nearly, yeah, he was right there because he kind of stopped, but I would have much preferred the touchdown, Doug, over the safety. But yeah, 2 points would have, I mean, shit. It all depends on the return man did with it. Who knows what happens if he squibs it? It pops up about 10 yards. Yeah, I just don't know. On kickoffs, doesn't the clock? I think if they give themselves up, it doesn't. If they the second they the way I had just had it sent to me, if they pick it up and run, clock starts. If they just give themselves up, no clock run. It's the equivalent of a fair catch. They just give themselves up, boom. So who knows if it bounces off a dude and he just picks it up, maybe a second or two tick off. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything solid yet. That might be the case, but we'll see if he goes. If he goes, it was he's done a great job. I wouldn't begrudge him getting a job. Oh, we need definitely Barkley. Need more. Our D line wouldn't have almost been just as effective to stay in a gap and try to get a hand. Yeah, man. I was really pissed there was no batted passes, and I'm like, you have Ruseo, you have Epinesa. I'm like, where's the batted passes? Just one tip, that's it. Just get your hands up. I'm a guy said each team is six a game. Predicted the first team to punt 3 times, loses the Bills versus KC, ran the ball 3 times and punted the possession hurt. Yeah, man. That was it was one possession. There was right before it became but right before it became 13 to 23, well 14 to 23, and that was that Hardman run. I was I was like, you got to put a drive together now. You got to put a drive together. Go up 20. Even if they go down, you're still just you got to go blow with them. And they went 3 and out. You know, which is tough. You know, they just ran out of gas, man. They just really ran out of gas. And it's just what happens when you get a good quarterback who, not just a good quarterback, a great quarterback who's hot and he's on fire, and he's got those types of playmakers. It's hard, man. It's not fucking easy. Early, what the hell was the play calling? All those runs to the outside. Yeah, I'm. Yeah, I mean, again, I think maybe they realized like once the game they needed to throw, and they put it in Allen's hands, and he showed he delivered, man, big time. That's tough, man, because you never know. It could be just a completely outside new voice. You know what I mean? It could be just a completely guy, Eric, that we don't know about, that we do know about, but we never saw him. We never saw him as a possibility. I mean, even Dayball, when Dayball was hired as the offensive coordinator, I mean, I didn't see him as a guy like, oh wow, we just got ourselves an awesome OC. I mean, because of all the success he's had with Allen, the guy potentially is going to be a head coach now. I mean, that's good. That's a good thing. Like, oh, it worked. So you know what? I'm sure McDermott has another dude. Have another one. You don't think some young guy that knows all the trends and has like a good progressive mind wouldn't want to work with that guy? They'll be lining up. They'll be like calling. They'll call McDermott, be like, "Yo, I want that job. I want that job. Give me that job." The Bills don't have to beg. They don't. Mike McCoy isn't going to turn down because they wouldn't hire Mike McCoy. But remember, Mike McCoy was like, "Nah, I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to go to where do you go to Arizona? You went somewhere else. You went to San Diego. He turned down the job." The drive we had them pinned back, it was at the one, taking the ball out of Allen's hands on 3rd and 2. Well, you know what? They've invested into Diggs was a first round investment because it was a trade. Allen, but I'm sure that we'll see. I mean, this team doesn't just first round guys on defense, on the defensive line is. I mean, they didn't have a first round pick because of Diggs, but Oliver played great. Oliver, Oliver, whew, you can't tell me he hasn't been good. I mean, Ruseo and Basham are rookies, so I'm not going to hammer them that much. I mean, this is the most football they've ever played in their life. I mean, Ruseo didn't play at all last year. Now he's playing what, 19 games. It's like you don't play for a year, dude. Now you go play the best for 19. It's like that's baptism by fire. But I thought he played well. Ruseo, Boogie got a little bit better as the season went on. So I mean, those guys still they're going to get better. They're not going to. I doubt they're going to stay the same. I think they'll be better. They'll know the kind of strength they need to gain. They'll know the kind of tells that they need to look for. They got, they got a little seasoning. They got a little salt, little pepper in the Spanish world. Next maybe year they'll get sazon, maybe sofrito. They'll add more to their repertoire, and they'll be better players. I'd say, yeah, thanks, Casey. I appreciate that, man. Let's, see you guys again in another one, probably sometime next year, man. I mean, I could see how, I think Frazier's a very calming influence for that team. I mean, he's an older guy who's played in the league. He's been a head coach. He's seen a lot of shit. So for him, maybe it is time. Well, we don't know. He's an older guy. I don't know how interested he is in being a head coach, taking over a team. That's a big haul for a 60-year-old guy. I mean, and he's had a shot. I mean, he had Adrian Peterson. He had his own team. I think he got Brett Favre as his quarterback too for the 1 year, or was that the other guy? Fuck, that was that geeky looking guy. I believe he got fired. He does work in KC now though too. After we pin them back, I'm just reading some of your comments, guys. Oh, Joe Brady. Yeah, but that's another thing too. Is like Joe Brady is like he was supposed to be some new offensive wonderkin that was supposed to help turn around Darnold, and they got fired. Like it turns out it was all like, okay, maybe he doesn't know the NFL game. Maybe he's not as a good of a. He's 34. Like I'm not saying a 34-year-old guy can't because Kyle Shanahan did it, but his dad pretty much raised him to do it. It's tough. I'm not saying Brady can't do it, but he already been fired. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he's calling plays for Josh Allen. It looked way better. So that's possible too. When you're calling plays for Sam Darnold and you're calling plays for Josh Allen, it's two different worlds. Ponder. Oh, he had Ponder. He didn't get none of Favre. Who was the geeky dude that was the head coach? It wasn't. If it wasn't him, it was this geeky looking dude, bald dude. If I see his name, I'll know it. Childress. Childress. That's who it was. Because I know Favre went there. He only had, yeah, okay, so he only got Favre at the end. It was Brad Childress who got him for the 1 year. Okay, that's the guy I was thinking of. I think Bates is, he's a young player, Barkley. We just got to give him a shot, let him play. It was Childress is the guy's name I was thinking. I was like, this nerdy guy. I know I can't say his name, but he worked with Andy Reid and shit a lot, and then he went there. Yeah, again, bro, it's just hard to make those plays. Our D just they made plays all. I mean, you've got to remember the week before Hyde made that play. They got a tip. Levi comes up with the pick. I mean, just again, our D has made plays. It's just that's a great team. With a great quarterback and unique weapons. Those aren't weapons you see unless you play them. A Hall of Fame tight end and the best track athlete. I'm saying the same things I said last year. The best track athlete that I've ever seen play football, and I'd argue anybody who wants to tell me who's a better one, and then a Hall of Fame tight end. Like literally, like Allen doesn't have a Hall of Fame player. So again, I wouldn't go that far, dude. Then it's over. Like what they're not going to draft players no more. It's over. Like that. Like KC's been at it for how many years? Is it over for them? No. When you have talent and reinfuse the team with talent draft wise. You make sage trades, like they made a sage trade for Melvin Ingram, has an impact on their team. So it's not over. Like I keep hearing about this window. It's just this imaginary thing people throw out there. Like it's who says it's gonna there's like a date on it, an expiration date. It's like, no, there's not. It's like tomorrow. If fucking this guy falls, slips, and tears his Achilles and his patella tendon and his quadricep, like, is their window over or their season's over? I mean, maybe it'll affect their next season, but if that happens, it's like Teddy Bridgewater's knee blowing up in a non-contact practice. That happened. So they never had a window. So there's no way you can put cast iron, ironclad statements like that out there. Let me read some of your comments, guys. But yeah, they're going to release players. They're going to tinker with contracts. It's just, yeah, better pass rusher. He's elusive, but yeah, man, they just don't have a finisher right now, man. I'll agree to that. They don't have a true defensive player like at the edge. I mean, Oliver gets double teamed a lot. He gets double teamed a lot. He draws a lot of attention. You release Feliciano. That's $4 million. Beasley 6.5. Your contract's coming off the books. I mean, you're going to draft players, right? You're going to sign some other players, right? It's like I can invent 1,000,001 ways that where's the money coming from. The cap is actually going up by 20 million this year, and they fielded that team with an $180 million salary cap. It's going to go up to what, 104, 103? No, 203, 200 and somewhere around there. That's where. That's insane talk. Anything's possible, man. I mean, Daboll's done a great job, so I don't want to slight him. Yeah, the salary cap is just one of those things. It's a veneer thing. You don't want to end up like New Orleans, though. They're like 80 million in the hole. Again, we're just gonna go talk in circles about that one, bro, because you can do lots of different things with money when you have a quarterback that you know is this young, and you'll see. I'll let it unfold for you, man. Yeah, cap space doesn't equate to wins. I mean, the Jaguars, they beat the Bills, but the Jaguars, the Jets, there's just a few teams that have the Browns for all the time, the 1-15 Browns, the 0-16 Browns. All they ever sold was, we have tons of cap space and tons of draft picks. We have a lot of cap space and tons of draft picks. How much have they gotten out of it? They probably don't have a quarterback. They had one good season and that's it. Why would they move Josh Allen's contract? That's crazy. Again, they're going to tinker with the raw. It's a tweak job. It's not again, it's overhaul talk. It's overhaul talk, and they're older. And those players are older. It's like if the second Tyreek Hill loses a step, he is done. Like, how about that? I can play that role with you. How about Travis Kelce is 33 years old? Okay. Does he lose a step tomorrow? You don't know. It could happen. He's got a lot of miles on the tires. He was a 24-year-old rookie. But outside of the speed, Tyreek Hill, that's his unique quality. The second he loses 2 ticks, it's done. Because those 2 ticks are what makes him unique. What's up, Steve? How you doing, bro? Yeah, and you develop players too, like that. Like Steve just said, you look at Ryan Bates. He's an undrafted free agent. Gilliam, undrafted free agent. But they still have Mahomes, right? And players get made better by great quarterbacks. Like I can give you shit. Austin Prohl. Austin Prohl was amazing when Kurt Warner threw him the ball, right? When Steve Berline threw him the ball with the Arizona Cardinals, whether the Phoenix Cardinals, he was not good. You understand? Like Gabriel Davis is a good receiver. Look how amazing he looked tonight because of the quarterback throwing them the ball. They couldn't win that game. They didn't get a chance with the ball at the end. Again, it was arguably the two best teams in the league tonight, going back and forth. Sans the Rams. Let me say one thing, bro. It was oh man, crazy. I'll tell you, it's the truth. I'll entertain it. It's okay. One team's gonna win, one team's gonna lose, right? I wish they were still playing, but they're not. I think they might have. They might have. They probably did. They have the younger guys come in. I don't listen to it though. Once I turn off all the noise, the outside noise. I just can't listen to it. I just don't have the with his job out there. He's an older dude. He's an older dude, that's for sure. Looks like Corey made a burner. That's funny. No, he's not going to be there forever. That's funny. Yeah, that crazy. I just don't understand, man. That was just inexcusable. Inexcusable. That if you want to talk about that situation in particular, that situation in particular was the one uh is the one bothering me. Is that situation is even if you squib it, I fucking kick it and try to get it to bounce off of the dude because I think at that point the clock runs. Now, if he firmly gets it and just goes down, clock's dead. It was. I just now the whole sequence because they knew what the KC Chiefs needed. They knew that I've said it before. I sound like a broken record. Each team knew exactly what the other needed. No, man, I can't kneel. I can't break anything, bro. I'm 45 years old, dude. I can't be doing shit like that. I mean, that's just insane stuff. That's insane stuff. You know. I mean, it's the in the moment. I have a Bills friend hit me up right now, Eric. I think he's listening. It's they're planted because this is the moment we're feeling. This is the moment we're in. This is the last. This is what we're gonna fucking feel. You know. I just don't. Again, I just don't understand the sequence. That now, even if you rush three, I would have challenged. I challenged I just didn't understand not challenging the receivers, just letting them have free runs. They had free access to the second and third level with no problem. I mean, to give up that last play to Kelsey was just absolutely fucking ridiculous. Okay, the first one to Hill, the drive starter, I get it. You don't want him to get anything. I mean, that was like what? Even that though, what the fuck was that? Like it was like 19 yards. I'm like, okay, now cool that shit. And then just to give up the next one to Hill, where Wallace is on his outside shoulder 3 yards, and he just runs down the middle of the field. That's not like it's he's not just some tight end either. You know what I mean? It's Travis Kelsey. He's really good. He's a Pro Bowler. You might want to stand next to him and run next to him. Again, I just the situational awareness. I just don't. It was really, really lacking. I was really, really lacking. I really wish that I really felt, you know, and then I looked and I was like, okay, they have three timeouts, and we seen the Hail Murray, we've seen it all. So I mean, I just fucking I assume anything at these games outside of the last 13 seconds, and then that happened, and it was really, really you know I just had to sit here and just like you know because even when they got the ball, KC got the ball and they got a couple of third, and then they got the one long play and they were down at the 6. I'm like, this just doesn't look. The defense looked completely gassed. That was funny, Matt. That was funny. Uh, but thanks guys for hanging with me. I had to come in and shoot the shit with you guys. You know, because I'm not gonna go hiding when shit gets bad. That's not how I am. I know one playoff game, I didn't come in after Houston, and I always regretted not coming in after Houston because I was just so they hadn't won a playoff game in so long, and they were up 16-0, and the way that whole game unfolded, where you know Allen did collapse a little, and they didn't make any plays, and the whole thing with Deshaun Watson bouncing off fucking Saran Neal and Milano and hitting Taiwan Jones of all people. That's I was just so in the toilet. But to see how Allen has developed and to see the type of quarterback he is, and knowing what I've seen at that position my whole life, I've got a 35-year Rolodex of fucking memory of quarterbacks and big moments. And that kid wanted to be in that moment. Like he reveled in it. Like he got off on it. There's not many dudes that want that, dude. Not many guys want it, guys. They could be in the league, but there's showers and there's growers. That kid's a shower and a grower. Like, holy shit. Like I was saying, you got a KC dude, saying that. It's like Herbert, to me, like he's not in the same class as Allen. Win a playoff game first, dude. Get your team to the playoffs. Okay, Burrow's playing next week. He's got a shot. But in terms of, the running ability, the fire, the arm strength, it's just not there. It's not there. So for me, I mean, he's a really good player though. When I do these little critiques, it's not like, okay, I'm totally shitting on this kid. He's legit, but we've got one of the best. We've got one of the best, and it's not close. Man, thank you for taking your time, man. You're listening to me, man. You're taking your time, so thank you. It's a two-way street, man. But if you listen to national people, Brandon, Herbert's ahead. Even though the media just they've been doing that forever. I mean, if Allen did what he did in a Giants uniform or a Jets uniform or a Cowboy uniform, oh my God, that fucking kid's fucking, yeah, man. That's what it's about, dude. We all want that hardware, man. That's what it's about. But don't think for 1 second if and when they get one, you're not going to want another. It's not going to. I mean, it'll feel good, but it's like if they win and they're shit the next year, you're gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? That's cool, dude. Yeah, I mean, again, like I don't know nothing about the other channels, what they do, what they don't do, what they, I'm not here to compete with them. I'm not here. No, because you have to suck so much ass and cut so much throat and walk over so many corpses to get to those points, Neil. Like, I don't have no respect for them. Think about all the friends that they've lied to, they fucked over, and that they've had how much ass they've had to kiss, how much personal pride they've had to compromise to get just to that little seat so they can have their little stage and their moment. And yeah, they make some good money and they live the semi-charm life. But at the end of the day, they're just scumbags. They all flip flop. Um, Read some of your comments, guys. It's all good. Dan, I don't know how to say your with the DS here. I think it's morning, and I think it's you know, like wow. I mean, it's not like Allen went out there and shit the bit. Holy shit, you went out there and let me put Tanner's Tanner's a moderator, so. Yeah, you've been coming around here for too long, Tanner. So Adam, I mean, again though these establishment guys though in New York, trust me, dude. I'm not the biggest. Not the big. I mean, it's like all these Good Morning Football guys. They claim to be Bills fans. They're not fucking Bills fans. Like that one guy. His name escapes me now, but he's like he was at the game. Um, he was on the field doing the hype thing. He's not a real Bills fan. He's just playing a role. Bills are hot right now, so he's going to jump on that. But if is the second if the Bills were nothing, you think he's at a Bills? No, he's not at a fucking Bills game. The Bills fans, the whole mafia thing that draws a certain amount of attention, but the team has to be good for any of that stuff to have any sort of legs. If the team is average to shit, then it's just like, those are just a bunch of fickle fans of a small fan of a small town team, small market. They got a chip on their shoulder and inferiority complex. No, so they're kind of that still cute story that I'm fucking done being that cute story. I want them to be recognized as a fucking powerhouse, which they are, and they're gonna be for going a much longer. And man, it's just again, I don't know if Trey would have mattered. I'd like to think a Pro Bowl corner would matter, but they also didn't have. I mean, Matthew got hurt early in the game for them, so I felt maybe if that even the playing field somewhat, But at the end of the day, the tackling fundamentals were not good. Um, just the simple assignments were just not good. It was just doing simple things sensationally. That's what it comes down to, and they just were not done right. Nah, man, you've been around a long time. I'm glad you popped in, bro. Yeah, Kyle Brandt. I mean, he has his spots. They have to kiss their ass so they can get these spots. They have to do all kinds of little like, oh, I'm on your 2 o'clock spot, and they do that whole little carousel, you know. And to me, it's just disingenuous. There's really no sports football talk anymore. It's all scuttlebutt, conjecture, strong opinions and all that kind of stuff. There's really truly no. I mean, what can you take away from this game? It was two great quarterbacks. They went toe to toe. One got the ball, one more extra time, and that was it. That was the end of it. That's the end of the story, man. Yeah, man, Tanner, that's it. The speed and the space. It's like you're fucked. That's exactly what happened. I feel like I'm in Groundhog's Day right now. I really do. Except the Bills were there to win. The Bills were not in last year's game. After the first quarter, they were not in last year's game. This year, 13 seconds. 13 seconds. That's it. It was just Neil. It was just them playing again. You're not a number one defense for 18 weeks because that's 18 weeks. And they had a rough year last year, but they were good the year before that, and they were good the year before that. So, I mean, again, like I know those years don't matter. And it's a what for you, what have you done for me lately league. But it's collectively, you know, again, it's not just one. I mean, if Allen doesn't slip in Tennessee, play this game at home, maybe it's a different outcome. If the whole team doesn't puke all over themselves, mainly the offense in Jacksonville, they win the game. They and this game's at home. This defense has played well and has kept the Bills in lots of games all year. I mean, they had to keep the Bills in that one Miami game. Miami didn't do shit because that defense didn't let them do shit. And then the offense got their legs under them and they were able to. I mean, even against the Jets, the offense had the one drive. There was a lots of struggles, and then they got their footing back underneath them late because the defense kept it like that. So I mean, again, they're in this position because of them. Had to go back to our old Marv quotes to help get over this. uh I'm kind of torn on that because for me it's like there was a 60-minute football game that was played, and play better defense, be more fundamentally sound, make a fucking play within that 60 minutes, and then you're not bickering and bitching about overtime rules. So I'm kind of torn on that, to be honest with you. I mean, if they're gonna play the whole quarter, play the whole quarter. I mean, the whole sudden death thing, shit. I mean, lots of you guys probably remember they would just play for the field goal. A lot of times, it's like, oh, they're in field goal range, and it's like you're watching a great game get ended by just a chip shot field goal, and there was really no chance to win, man. But no, that was you miss a kick. Kickers are going to miss kicks. The extra point, that's going to happen. There was other things. There was the one tackle by Dane Jackson. I think it was McKen. I know Jarrett McKinnon. That was a huge play. But then there was the other penalty that he got. I mean, 4 points, 4 points. So it all evens out at the end of the day. But kickers miss kicks. Chris Sims, the only yeah, he liked him. His dad. This I'll tell you this, Steve. His dad really tried to get the Giants to draft him, and Gettleman knew he was going to draft Barkley like in I want to say in January. He knew he was going to draft him. He was not going to move away from it. But his dad, like Phil, was begging them, take him, take him, take him, take him, take him, and obviously they didn't take him. Uh, Not bad though. We already knew Josh was the guy, but holy hell, the kid, man, that kid didn't want to be anywhere else but that there and that day. You know, today, like he wanted those big moments. Like I would have loved for him to get the ball first, but we'll never know. I mean, he got the ball first against Tampa Bay, and they went 3-and-out. So tonight he just looked different. Like he's getting better. Like he's getting better. Like he's getting to that point where the only thing could stop me out here is me. The only thing that could stop me out here is me. That's a Super Bowl crazy. That you can't call wide right 13 seconds. That was for a Super Bowl, completely different. That's for the chip. That's for the hardware. I can't agree on that. I said Rich get after that game. I said the Rich guy. Of course, the Chiefs would. Again, they have a great. Again, I don't want to take nothing away from them. They have a great quarterback. They have great weapons, Hall of Fame caliber weapons. So and they're in a different place. They're 2 years in deeper to their whole thing. I mean, after Alex Smith and Hill and Kelsey were there already. So you know, Allen needs to get his dudes, man. He has some. He needs a couple of more. Fight on, my man. Sir Andrews said, I'm a little hurt, but not slain. Yep. That's all you got to do, man. It's a good way to put it. Right after number 30. That just, yeah. That's crazy, isn't it? It's like numbers like that. Ugh, I don't even think about that. Yeah, Tanner, 100%. Yeah, it's again, we're talking about a team that's really, really good. Just really, really good. So just, they have who they have, and they've been there so many times. So it's like, even with the 13 seconds, I had trepidation because of the timeouts. And then I saw the way they played it. I'm like, oh shit, why are they playing so far back? They're just afraid of getting run past. And you can't just be in fear of people running past you. I mean, those are some unique plays made by some unique players, but to play with that type of fear, and they got burned by it. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, why do you think that they're going to try to score a touchdown here? They're going to try to kick a field goal and get it to overtime. And then if they get the ball, your defense is gassed, because the Bills' offense, you notice when they got the ball, the one drive before the last one, they had to take their time and score because that was their last shot. But then KC got the ball and they scored so fast because, Tyreek Hill catches it and runs with it. And it's like Bills get the ball with a minute and change back. So, but they go down and score. And still, I just don't think the defense ever got a chance because it was just reeling. Getting run at like that is it's just too tough. It's just too tough to deal with. You're backed out, and they're running at you, and it's not even like they're running beside you. They're running like, just like, Kelsey's here. I can't cover Travis Kelce. Kidding me? But I'm going to let him go run by my door that way, and I'm just going to run this. I have no chance. Like, I probably don't have a chance anyway, but I definitely had no chance. I just don't understand what the hell that was. I just think you hate the Raiders because they're in their division, but I don't think they're a rival of yours at all. They just don't have a team that can play with you guys. So, I mean, they might get the odd win here or there, but they're going to never be in a big moment. Yeah, the tackling was very bad tonight, man. Just across the board, very tackling. See, that's the thing, is like, Gabe Davis we've known how good he's been for 2 years now. And tonight he had a coming out party. You know what I mean? Oh, Neil, don't start doing that shit. Don't do that. Don't do that to me, Neil. I know where you're going to go. Yeah, man, I've never been to Buffalo, right? I've never been. I've never been, but I've told the story about how I became a Bills fan. And then when I first came to Jersey City, the first park I went to, it's right here. You can even go Google it. You can go to Google Maps and see it. So, I'm not telling stories. There's a park right here on Kennedy Boulevard in between Manhattan Avenue. It's on the corner of Manhattan and Kennedy. And I remember, like, I was just a kid. I came here way back in the early 90s and went to that park, and I had already become a Bills fan. My family had moved down to Florida, but then my mom was living in an apartment here. So I came here to see her. And then, oh, she's like, oh, there's a park down the block over around there. So you can go there. I'm like, okay. I went there, and on either side of the park, there's these two giant buffalo statues, like these big of a buffalo, just like kind of like sitting, like would be laying out on the plains. There's like two on either side. And I was just like, if there wasn't even more of a fucking sign, man, it was more of a sign. But I get it now. It's okay. This guy's he's just being a douchebag now. He's just being a douchebag. North Buffalo, North Towns, work in Buffalo, born and raised. Yeah, that was pretty rough. I mean that guy, I'm sure he'll have a good story to tell, right? Well, they drafted pass rushers, man. They're just young. Yeah, it's a big numerology number, man. But it's like just a jersey number, and just people are just gonna do that. That's what they're gonna do. It's called copium. They're just gonna find a way to cope, and they're gonna use the number 13, scored by number 13, to try to make sense out of some craziness. That's what's gonna happen. That's exactly what's gonna happen, man. That it's just so for me, I just try to, the game's played by 22 grown men at a time that are big, fast, and strong, and they make crazy tons of plays. Yeah, I just got to a point I was sick of it, Trevor. I was like, okay, you can go now. You're not even funny. You're not even entertaining anymore. Like his name was KC, like Kansas City, EF5, but your team just won a game, but you're such a miserable person. You came here. Wow, that's a miserable fuck. Like you can't even go enjoy your team's win. You have to go find a Bills room to like sit and mentally masturbate because you're so miserable yourself. Yeah, bro, you're in here a lot. You're active as fuck, man. No need to thank me, man. Yeah, it's they there's it's always going to bring out the like these types of games are going to bring out like even wins can do that too. They can bring out the worst in people in a completely different way. Any extreme is going to bring out sometimes the worst in people, and it's like do that, do this, do that. um I don't know, 8 catches, 201 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's what I know. It's not nothing for you to be apologized about, dude. You don't need to be sorry. I take people on an individual basis. I don't group people in. I don't do that stuff. Like if you're a part of, I don't care if you're a part of a group. It all how you act on your own accord is how I judge you. You know what I mean? That's with anything. That's with anything. It's like, oh my God, all right, we're gonna do that. Maybe middle line. I don't know, man. It's just the tackling was tough tonight, Tanner. Again, I don't want to. It was everybody on defense, man. It wasn't just one player. It was everybody. There's good fans of teams that have come in, and there's douchebags. Like I told you, when I was doing the MMA videos, I was called every name in the book. And you want to talk about some fucked up people who watch a sport? Most of those guys can't wipe their own ass without a mirror. But they talk a lot of shit behind the keyboard, boy. But behind the keyboard, they are fucking beasts. And oh man, I would get eviscerated. And it was just funny to me. I would laugh. Like I would read some of the comments that people would say to me. And I'm like, holy shit, this is hilarious. I would just kind of read to see how bad it could get. Like I was called like so many different things, told so many different, stuff about myself. And it was just I found it entertaining. Like I kind of looked at it from a standpoint of if I'm going to put myself out here, right? I'm going to get in front of a camera and talk. There's a good chance like somebody's just going to see me and be like, "Oh, fuck this asshole. I'm going to tell him something." And so I had to like prepare for anything. You better be able to handle anything. Don't be a mentally weak person and like need love and need affirmation because this ain't the place for affirmation unless people like your personality and you're a good communicator. It was about 13 in this game. um, oh, that's just because he's miserable, dude. No, I know some people, Matt, personally that are Patriot fans. Always good people. Like when I do my shit on fucking Instagram and stuff, and I went ham after the game. I had to like go out of my way to tell them. Well, one girl in particular, I'm like, look, Kara, this is not like when I do this shit. It's not directed towards you, towards her husband Joe's a Patriot fan, and another friend of ours, Marco. I was like, dude, I'm not shooting arrows at you guys. I just want you guys to know that. So, because it can get like people can take that shit really personal. The Bills have been a rag doll for so long, and people who truly know me know I'm a Bills fan. It's not like I'm some noob that just jumped on the train. So they know like, oh shit, Mark is affected by this game one way or another. Uh, they were all underwhelming tonight, Tanner. Though I mean, it's just everybody. It was just everybody. And I just think the speed that happened, the speed that came downhill at them, pun intended, Tyreek Hill, because when somebody like that at you is running, you're like, okay, if I make one false move, he's gonna go past me, even if I'm running as hard as I can, which they were, and you still couldn't catch him. Oh, where are you at now, Dan? We're in Union City, bro. I'm in the Heights. I'm in JC. You still live over here, bro? I don't know how old you are. Did you go to Emerson, Union Hill, or did you go to Union City High, the new one that they built, Roosevelt, on old Roosevelt Stadium ground? But you know the park. You know the park then. They call it Mosquito Park here, but it's not really. That's only the locals call it that. It's not really called that. Uh, yeah, I mean, again, it's like, but you feel like the game is in hand. You really like to come out on the other end of that. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do, Killer. Oh, you're in North Carolina 15 years. Wow. Oh, wow. See, I'm 40. So you remember, oh, that park's been around a long time, Dan. So you've seen it a lot. I mean, if you've been up here at all, you'll see how different this area is. It's like you'll know Hoboken. So Hoboken's a completely different story. You live in Ohio right now, but where in Ohio you live, Matt? You're gonna find out what a cesspool you act, so you're gonna find out what a cesspool New York is when you really, really live there. Remember, I told you this too. Nobody's your friend, especially in that business. Yeah, me too, man. 45. Do I ever watch a game out? No, man. I did back '09, Steve. There was this place in Hoboken called the Shannon that had the games. I went there a little bit, a couple of times, but I just didn't like the bar atmosphere. I just kind of like, you know what? I'd much rather be home, watch the game, relax. I went there a handful of times, but I was like, nah, I'd rather just watch at home. He did, Tanner. He did, and you know what? Okay, I know somebody who lives in Dayton, actually, outside of Dayton. He's a Bills fan. I can't imagine the shape he's in right now because I know a lot of hardcores, like a lot of hardcores. Like if you watch this, you're a fucking true blue Bills fan, and I'm not sucking my own dick. I'm just like, you went out of your way to watch my ass for 17 years of no fucking playoffs. Well, at that point, it was probably like, well, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 10 years. So you watched me for a decade with no playoffs, no franchise quarterback. You're as hardcore a motherfucker as there is. Okay, you're 27, man. You're a youngin. Probably Trevor. That's a good one. Yeah, man. Because I pace like a fucking like a caged animal. Like I can't watch games with people. Like it's hard enough to contain myself. Like, do you know like the emotional damage I'm masking right now? Like it's a lot. I'm playing a good part right now. Trust me, I want to put my head through this fucking glass table. I've seen it, never been to it. I know like there's another place that's across from them. I forget the name of it. It's a smaller bar that they have like an agreement with. I've heard of McFadden, seen it, but I've never been. I'm reading some of your comments, guys. It's only become more of a set. Oh God, it was better before, Steve. It's a shithole now. It's getting worse. It was on its way there though, but it's like because everybody move. It's just cyclical. Yeah, man. I'm still an emotional wreck. I'm just yeah. I laugh at those now, Tanner. I laugh at those now. 60, 50 years. So you waited a long time, man. So you see a guy right here is a 60-year-old fan of a team, and he waited 50 years, a long time to watch his team finally win one. I mean, saw one when he was a kid, but had to wait a really fucking long time for them to get back to another one. How nervous was I at the end of the game? Fuck, I'm standing right here, like I'm in squatted position, just doing this, and then Davis catches that ball. I'm through the fucking ceiling. 13 seconds happen, and I'm in the fucking floor again. That's how it went, man. Bill's time of suffering needs to die. Well, you know what it is you only find out through, you can only forge a sword through fire. You can only forge, steel through pressure with a hammer. You don't come through like adversity because everything was a semi-charmed life and it was a rose garden. Nobody ever thrives through that, comes through that. You have to, this is just part of this team story. That's going to be part of Josh Allen's story. You know what I mean? He's never going to be in another game again unless it's a Super Bowl that had as much tension and as much big moments as that game. And he went through it with flying colors. Like seriously flying colors, man. And it was just like he wanted it. Like you could tell, like I'm not telling stories. You guys watch what I did. He wanted to be. He's like, come on, give me the ball, motherfucker. Let's go, let's go. I want it. We're gonna score. When that was 1 minute and 3 seconds left, he's like, let's go. We're gonna go. I saw him on the sideline when he got his shit. He's like, we're good. We're going. We're gonna score. And they did. I'm gonna read some of your comments, guys. I feel like being a Bills fan has trained me for heartache. Man, there's gonna be a lot of scumbags out there, man. I'll just tell you, nobody's your friend. Nobody's your friend. You got to be cool with people. You got to work with them, but the dirty fucking place. Bengals next. I don't. Honestly, I don't care. Crazy. I don't care. Like for me, it's just like whoever wins wins. You still in MMA? I started watching. Yeah, I'm still into it. Terrible fight last night. If you watched it, boring. One guy was gassed. The other guy didn't have any skill to do anything except just be a big dude. Just it was not the fight prior to though was really good though. The 135 fight was really good. I think that's what they were, 135 pounders, bantamweights. They were really good. Uh, but that they got the ball in overtime. That was the difference, and they were at home. Crazy. Felt like taking a little baseball bat to the tree's backyard. See, I can't do that here. Oh God, I feel like it's gonna be San Francisco versus KC. Let's hope this one isn't followed by another dumpster fire pandemic. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like they stopped like doing. It's just a fucking joke. Yeah, we remember the ass kicking Buffalo. Yeah, that was Montana's last game. That was a long time ago. If they win, they win. I'm not going to take anything away from them. You got to earn that shit. So I mean, I'm not gonna take it away from him. Wait that long. I'm here to the end, dude. If it's that long, it's gonna be that long, man. This is the way it's gonna be. No, Bill, I don't wear jerseys crazy. I don't wear another man's name on my back, man. That's just me. I just don't do it. It's just a personal thing. Like if other dudes do it, I don't judge them, whatever. But me personally, I'm just not gonna wear another man's name on my back. Like I wear the logo. I wear the watermark and the logo. That's what I'll wear. Paul Bunyan. He really is. Babyface assassin, that's what I call him. Looks like I picked up a sniffing glue. Don't do that shit, Jay. Don't do that shit. When I was a kid living in, like, I used to bounce back and forth between here and Florida. I remember there was this kid. I went back one summer. He started fucking huffing like paint or spray paint. When like I was like I came back and the motherfucker was always had paints on his hands. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I fucking used to, but he was huffing it. And the fucking kid ended up having like some sort of brain seizure or something like 3 or 4 months down the line. I lived through the '90s, the drought. This ain't as bad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Steve, you're like a fucking you're a road dog. You've been there, done that, seen it all, been through it all. I tell Bills fans like you should have a suit of armor on. It's impenetrable. All these young cats are like sniveling and stuff. There's a lot of hardcore young cats, but too many people wanting to cry me a river. Don't do that. I wouldn't pick against the Rams right now. They look like they were trying to lose that game, though, Neil. I'm telling you. Seriously, Trevor. It felt like that. It really did. Yeah, I don't. Honestly, Matt, I don't care. If it's entertaining, it is. If it's not, who gives a shit? I don't think it'll be as entertaining as this. I don't think there's any way. I probably already had a receding hairline, started watching the Bills in 1980. Oh, wow. Rob Johnson to Doug Flutie. 3 years ago. Wow. Well, you guys were good with Alex Smith. You had some good years. Trent Green, Priest Holmes. They had some good teams. Eddie Kennison was on those teams. Even the '90s teams. Elvis Gerback threw up some numbers for you guys. Montana AFC had the big win in Houston. The Buddy Ryan punch and Gilbride game. I mean, there was I mean, they just didn't have that was the Marty ball, but oh, is that a quote from a movie? I don't know the quote then, because Jay Barkley says great movie. Um, you put it like how that now I wonder why I bought jerseys for because this is something fans do. You know, there's nothing against it. There's nothing against it. I just, for me personally, I just don't believe in it. I used to use that line. Oh, it's from an air. Yeah, I've never seen that movie. I think it's like one of those '80s movies. No, like there was a series of them. I'm sure. I mean, it's kind of like the. See, I hope that we're one seed next year. I mean, if they're not, they are. They are like this year. I mean, they had a chance to win that game. That would be crazy, Doug. Yeah, after it never happened before, it's going to be 2 years in a row. But San Francisco has a habit of beating the Rams. It's like they're a familiar opponent. This will be their third time playing, much like the way they had to beat them to get into the playoffs. They were down 0 and 17, 0 like 17 points, and they still came back and won. I appreciate that, Dan. Thanks. You know, they're two great players. You know, it's like one's like apples and oranges. Which one do you like? That's what it comes down to, man. Well, up until recently, the main ones, yeah, the big ones, yeah, I will say that. Yeah, it stinks, Trevor. It really does. The one thing about the one seed Marlboro man was is is like you saw yesterday, the 2-1 seeds, Tennessee and Green Bay were just so not sharp. The execution was so bad, and that's what I worry about. That week off on the, it sounds nice. You get a rest, you get your legs back, you get extra time to prepare. But it's just, I think that sometimes you see these teams that come in and they just look like they're a step slow. They just look like they were just, kind of lounged a little bit, relaxed, watched the game. Then all of a sudden, oh, we got to pick it up again. And it's like at this point during the year, you're so knee deep in it that consistent schedule of game, you lose it. And I think yesterday it definitely showed because they looked like shit. Read some of your comments, guy. Oh, it's a parody movie, silly idea. I've heard of it, never watched them though, man. Never watched them. Even the Steve. Oh, Dave Craig with a K. Steve, I'm just messing with you, dude. Barry Word, I remember that running back. You guys remember Barry Word for KC? Shoddy loved big running backs. Big running backs. I bought a jersey in almost 15 years. Last one was Marshawn Lynch. He was a painful player to watch for Seattle. Every time he had one of his epic runs, it would just kill me. No, Tanner, the tackling was terrible today. It was atrocious. There's no other way to put it. I mean, I'm not going to defend that. That's 100%. He's human fucking. He's a human like demolition derby. Like seriously, as a player, he's Berg's broken finger was our symbol of hope. He had one good year. I remember he was very efficient that one year. Only threw like 2 or 3 picks. I know they got into the playoffs and lost right away, but Stephen Meyer 43, and this loss hurts me just as much as it did when I was 11. Started watching those Super Bowls. The same here, Steve. Of course, I mean if it doesn't hurt, then you're losing the passion. If it hurts, you still have the passion, and if you don't have the passion, then what's the point of watching? If it doesn't sting, you lose it. If it's just something you do, like, I don't care. Like, you give a fuck. If you're saying you don't care, you're just lying to yourself. There's a lot of people that do that. I see a lot of the ones on Twitter. They swing from the tree when there wins, and now all of a sudden, no, it's just a game. Blah, blah, blah. I'm fucking in pain, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm hurting. So don't let nobody try to talk you off a ledge. I mean, I'll talk you off a ledge, but I'm not going to not say you shouldn't be on the ledge. I'm not going to argue against your reasoning. Only buy jersey after players retire. I mean, like, yeah, man, if you got a Kelly, a Bruce, if you got a Tasker, even that like, I'm not going to argue that, but just me personally, I just wouldn't do it. To me, it's just Steve. It's always just about getting in. He had a lot of them, Trevor. He had a lot of trusting playoff losses. We should have played this game at home, yeah, but they didn't, bro. Midnight, they they had opportunities early in the season that they didn't take advantage of. Well, then you know what? That's passion, dude. That's the scale. The scale is this. If those 13 seconds run out and we win, the scale is, dude, we're in the fucking ceiling. Think about where we are, where we would have been. Now we're in the toilet. So we have to, that's part of the balance. And in a few months, we're going to come back. After this thing goes away, we see the team start to make a transition personnel wise, some coaches, the draft's going to roll around. We're going to even it out. But the sting is part of it. It's the balancing act. So let it feel like, so when they win next time a game, just a game, when they win a game, you have to ride that wave of that win because it's hard to win. Whether, we've seen it. Like, shit, look how many times the Bills went up and down the field this game, the last game against the Pats, the game last prior game before against the Pats. And we were just dying for one of those fucking drives against Jacksonville, and they could never get it. So that's why, like, when they win a fucking game, I don't give a fuck if it's against Jacksonville, if it's against the Bad News Bears football version, the Washington Generals, or the Kansas City Chiefs. You lose your fucking mind. Go fucking ham. Go ham. Nah, Frank, that's crazy. Again, that's just rhetoric. Window. Did the Ravens have a Super Bowl window when Trent Dilfer was their quarterback, or did they just hit it? Joe Flacco apparently had a Super Bowl. I mean, was he a no? You just get in, and if you get it, you do it. Yeah, I mean, it's a balance, Steve. Like, those happened. You can't undo those, but I know, like, when, we all have to realize when we start watching these that there's a potential letdown factor. And for me, I'm just kind of like, I can take it. I can take both, and I'm gonna fucking, when they win, that's when you're gonna see me at my peak. So, and everybody knows, like, the quarterback is the shit, and they know that he's gonna be in it for the long haul. So, you know, it's the emotionally in the toilet, Dan. Emotionally, I'm playing a good bit right now. When I feel like my life would be falling apart in these areas, but my hope as a Buffalo Bills, a lot of stress in my life. But I mean, I mean, there's 32 teams in the league, and there's a few teams I don't believe really have fan bases, but for the ones that do, you this is the feeling. This is the feeling. 28 other teams feel like they don't feel this right now, but they're hoping that they get a chance to potentially feel like this. They watched the Bills today, but how do you think Green Bay fans feel today? They don't know if Aaron Rodgers is coming back. They don't know what's what. Um, think about another team like shit. Think about like Cleveland. I see the Cleveland beat reporters. You know what the Cleveland beat reporters are doing right now? All they're talking about is shit. Look at Josh Allen. Baker Mayfield will never do that. Sorry, Baker Mayfield's not doing that. Baker Mayfield is not doing that. He's not that dude. That's what they're saying. Rightfully or wrongly, they're saying it. Do you know what I mean? So there's 32 other 28 other stories going on right now. Well, 27 minus the Bills. Okay, 27. And each one has their own personal hell that they have to navigate through, whether they don't have a quarterback, they don't have a coach, no GM, ownership is bad, yada, 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 or all of the above. You know, yeah, Steve, that's part of it. I mean, it's just like unless the Bills are in it, I don't really give a shit as long as the Patriots never win another one. And Tom Brady's not going to win another one. So I didn't really care because he's not on the Patriots anymore. He could have won another one. I wouldn't have given a shit as long as it wasn't against the Bills. But for me personally, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. Like, I just know that as long as this team has that kid under center, they're going to be a fucking force to be reckoned with. I've never seen a kid viscerally get so like within you can watch Allen like actually lock in. Like you've seen him like all of a sudden like the Terminator go like he spotted his target and he's like, here I am. Boom. Got him. There's John Connor. I got him. Like that's what you saw him. You saw him do it. Like I got the ball. I'm gonna score. There's nothing they can do. Watch. Like you could just tell. Like it was really nice to see that. It was really nice to see a Bills quarterback have that in his locker. I got to read your comment properly, Matt. Am I the only one? My life may be falling apart in these areas, but I will put my hope in the Bill. Yeah, dude, it happens. We're only here for a cup of coffee, man. We've got to find something we have unmitigated passion for in and ride it, because if not, man, life can be a real ugly place. It can chew you up and spit you out, and you got to have something existential thing that you really drives your emotions. And this is it for us. This is the aphrodisiac we've chosen. Oh, reading some of your comments, guys. All right. Starting to feel a little better, still crushed. Thinking about the quarterback we have. He showed the coin flip. Yeah, if you lose a coin flip. But there was some downs in there, man. There was a couple of 3-and-outs in there. I'd take the Eli Manning window right now. I just get in. That's it. Just get in, Steve. You're right. About the balancing thing, it can't just always. Well, yeah, everybody wants to be in Shangri-La, and oh my God, just I mean, I know where we would be right now if they had won that game. It's damn near. I mean, I wanted to be there right now. There was nothing I wanted to do more, but that 13 seconds, it was just a microcosm of. It was a culmination of what happened in the prior 3 minutes to the Bills on defense. Well, actually, no, the whole second half. When Hardman changed gears on them the one time, they thought they hemmed him in. There's like, they're going to push him out of bounds. They relaxed for like a nanosecond, and he hit a second gear, and he was gone in the end zone. And then on the hill crosser, what was it? 11 yards. Wallace misses the tackle. There's a decent amount of Bills players over there. I know Poyer was over there, Hyde was over there, Jackson was over there, Teron Johnson was over there, and they were all in position. And he still hit it, and he knew he was going to hit it too. And I saw once he cleared Poyer, and then Poyer's like, "Holy shit, he's going to run past me." And then he did the whole peace out thing where I was like, I'm not a fan of the taunting thing, but if you're going to do it consistently, you could do it there. But again, I'm not going to sit here and champion that stuff because I like guys to show emotion, even if it's against my team. It's just like I like the raw emotion of it. I was like, they did not want that to happen in the last drive. That's the only rationale I can think of. They did not want to get run past because it happened to them several times in this game, and they were tired. KC had the ball 10 more minutes, ran about 8 more plays. Doesn't seem like much, but to hold the ball that long, you're under every play is a high leverage situation. It's a lot of stress. You're feeling heavy. They're running at you. They look dazed and confused. They had taken one. They got jabbed, and then they would get the big hook in the form of a 25-yard plus play. And it's like, holy shit, they're at the doorstep again. We got to make a stop. How are you going to work in 2 hours, Steve? That's damn. You're going to put your big boy pants on to that, and just go through it, and there'll be better days ahead, man. Theater and the Bills. Don't let anybody ever ask you to either, Matt. The second somebody does that, how close is Allen to being the best? It's right there, midnight. And what? He's right there. Tell me who, you know. You know, is he's I don't know who. I mean, people want to throw out Herbert. Go to the playoffs first, man. Put some nice stats together. I mean, it's like at this point in Rodgers' career, he's a week 1 to 17 quarterback, but when he gets into the playoffs recently, he's not doing what a quarterback of his caliber should be doing, or his team isn't. Um, it's tough, man. It's tough once you get in because, and I'm not saying Rodgers is great. I mean, it's you look at the top five. Let's just be real. I mean, if Brady retires, he is going to be 45 years old before next season kicks off. Let's say he retires. You got Mahomes. You have Rodgers. If Allen isn't right there, then what the fuck are we doing? Um, Everybody else is a tier below those guys. Everybody else, and it's. I mean, you got like on the outside looking in, you got Herbert, you got Burrow. The younger cats are always going to get the nod, in my opinion, because they're young and they're fresh. But then, even after that, there's a dip. There's a dip. There's I mean, does Deshaun I mean, I can't even bring up Deshaun Watson's name. What who's gonna take on that bullshit? You know, who's gonna take on that bullshit? So that's an insane that you want to put that guy in your uniform, that's you're treading down a slippery slope. I tell you, did not pay to have a bye this season. Both, yeah, man. They just looked. The execution was terrible, Eric. They looked like hot garbage. And they both lost. If we had won tonight, I would have no doubt watching the way Josh played. Yeah, man. It's just one bounce here, one bounce there, and that's it. Let's sign you, St. Paul. Yeah, that's yeah. He's 40 and he's not a football player. Track athlete who plays football. That's the huge difference. There's not many. There's a lot of track athletes, but not many of them want to get hit. A lot of them aren't good in a phone booth either. Stop, start, go. That totally different. Uh, yeah, if it wasn't like a Super Bowl situation, I don't know what is, man. Yeah, the margin of error in these games, every play means like 10,000 times more. Yeah, what? Yeah, and again, he was four and what I think. What were they this year? 4-13 with Tyrod Taylor and Mills at quarterback. Yeah, but again, you still if you make tackles, if you bring guys down, you really can hit. Like there was a couple of times the Bills really put some numbers on some guys. They were really like when they held the guy up, they came in and the second, third guy cleaned him up hard. And I like that. I'm like, look, that's the way you slow these guys down. They want to be little jitterbugs. When you get them, make them hurt. You got to hit them hard. It's just part of it, man. It's just part of it. But then they just, there was too many plays where they got in space and they didn't have to pay the price for getting the ball, man. What Allen did in the last few minutes was fucking amazing. That was amazing. Yeah, yeah. Credit to them, Frank. What was it? First playoff win in 30 years. That's amazing. I need to try to sleep. Let's go, Bo. Get some sleep, man. Have a good one, bro. Thank you. Appreciate you stopping in. Yep. No, none for him, man. It was a mainly an Allen show. They had a hard schedule this year, Trevor. They definitely did. They had a harder schedule. It showed on the field. They didn't help themselves, and it was tough. Yeah, bro. We don't have a lot of yak guys. That's one thing I will say. They don't have a lot of yak guys. I think their best yak guy is probably McKenzie. You know, So that's the best way I can describe it. You know, if you have some yak guys, maybe it's a different thing. But if not, you know, you still have a great quarterback, and you still have to make plays with what you have. He does have more air yards. He has some of the least yak in the league. That's actually a stat. That's not a makeup stat, Barkley. It is like that's he's got the most air yards. They all are. They all kind of are, Frank. I there was a fight on last night, and they were really homering hard for the guy who was the champion, Moreno. And I was just like, it was so transparent. I was like, man, they were really like, maybe they had directives to really like be all in on him on the commentary, but everything he did, they overreacted to. And then when they got to the judges and they gave the fight and the title to the other dude, Pereira, I'm like, that's why you watch a lot of this shit muted, because they'll skew what you're, especially in a fight. Not so much a football game, because we can see with our own eyes and discern what's going on. But the commentator, you can tell, like when Collinsworth is commentating a game with Brady and Stafford, who's a really great quarterback. Brady is all world, best quarterback ever, and he's using the term Mahomesian. Like, if he's not a bigger dick sucker than that, I mean, like, come on, man. That's still Brady. And Stafford makes some pretty sick throws too. So, like, come on, man. That's insane. They need one guy who can be a fucking like and obviously Oliver played much better, you know, but they just don't have that one, you know, they need that one dude that's going to do it, whether one of the guys that can develop into one or they can get one. Well, his contract is up, Frank. So there's that. Well, Knox, yeah, Collinsworth is trash. I can't stand him. And now you see, you got the national, you got the N for NFL doesn't always stand for national. Nepotism football league. You had his son does some pregame stuff. The young Jackie Collinsworth. He's right there. You'd be surprised how many of these people are related to each other, even though they don't have the same last name. It's insane. They really do keep it all in the family. I shit you not. It is, because some teams employ them for their numbers, and then obviously they're going to get on air and talk good about the people who pay them money. Chris Collinsworth is like the majority owner of it. And then you got a bunch of dudes over in Ireland like Jeff Monson. He's an Irish dude. You guys want to feel, be an American. They'll call us a Yank. They'll call you a Yank, because I've done this, because I'm a fan of a Premier League team. They'll call you a Yank. They'll tell you you're a Yank, and they'll tell you that you don't know shit about soccer, football, what they call football, and that you should shut the fuck up. That's what they'll say to you, dead ass, all the time. It never fails. Oh, look, a Yank. But I have to listen to Jeff Monson talk about American football. I ain't gonna say nothing bad about him. You know, maybe my nose, just because he's an Irish dude. Remember Kai Fahey hated Josh Allen. He deleted his Twitter last year. Well, you never know. They might get a chance. They're rebuilding. Would he take less to come to Buffalo? It would, you know, who knows? But he's the kind of player that changes games. And that's the one thing that the Bills defense lacks, is a game changer. You know, KC's got some studs. I mean, Chris Jones is a legit stud. The one young linebacker they have is really nice. I know the other kid got in trouble with Bolton, is a really nice player. How old? He's old now, but he's 30, maybe a couple of years. But Collinsworth calling a Brady versus Mahomes games. He's Yeah, he's obnoxious. He's an elitist. I just don't like people that are pompous like him. He was a diva, like not even a diva receiver. He was just, I don't know. Ed McCaffrey was the same, but just better. Well, Chris played the position. He played in the league. He was put in a bad spot by John Gruden. Got his spleen severed and still played him and was hurt. His dad, I mean, was you know a quarterback for a very hard organization to play for. Well, a hard market to play in. I shouldn't say an organization to play. I should say it was a hard market to play in. That's why Jet quarterbacks get chewed up and spit out the way they do, because this market is hard. This media is relentless. Yeah, yeah, Frank, I'd say he is. Oh God, that's why I watch the games mute, Steve. Watch him mute. They have better an offensive core than the Bills. I think they have more established players. The Steelers is subjectable. The Browns on the receiver position, I'd say no. Running back, yes. Cardinals have one player, Hopkins. That's it, and I can edit him out with Diggs. The Cowboys have sick wide receivers. That's it. I mean, the top end of those receivers, at least Lamb. Cooper's kind of in and out now. Wilson and Gallup, I love. They're going to lose one or two of them in free agency because the money they have tied up elsewhere. Zeke is shot. Pollard, I mean, but this is top five offenses. They'll get. I mean, they scored 36 points tonight, man, and the one guy got the ball one more time. So just remember that before you go. Yeah, but I think you still need to get younger there, Jay. You need to get younger. You need Davis needs to get more burn. Can we all agree? Davis needs to be on the field playing. He doesn't need to be rotating with anybody anymore. That kid can ball. Let him do him. He's going to go into his third year. Training wheels are off. I don't know how overrated you think it is. I mean, they have good players. We were saying earlier, if you would have been in here earlier, he needs a freak on offense. He needs he needs a freak on offense. He needs like one elite weapon, whether it be a running back, whether it be a wide receiver, in terms of a freak. Like he's faster than everyone else, or he's big and fast. So if you want to say that, definitely agree. If you want to word it like that, the wording is maybe what we're looking for here. But yeah, he definitely needs that freak show, because let's be honest, Mahomes has as a track team, but he has a freaky track athlete who's a great football player, and then a Hall of Fame tight end. So those are his bread and butter, and that's where he went when they needed plays. Those two players got them on the 13-second drive and on the last few plays. When they needed them, they got them. The touchdown to Kelsey, boom, right there. Our young tight end, he still has growing to do, as you've seen. He wasn't really anywhere to be seen, and he hurt KC in the first game. Oh, and dude, when your guys are running 4-2, they're taking fucking 11-yard plays for 64 yards. Little dinks for 15. It's shit. The tackling was terrible. That's what I was saying. The tackling was terrible. If you cut that in half, it changes the game with tackling. With Bill's tackling was terrible. They're Hall of Famers too. I believe Tyreek Hill's a Hall of Fame talent if he keeps playing at this level. It's hard because a guy his size, he's not big. The second he loses his quick that burst, he's gone. Like that's it for him. It's kind of like once Once Shady lost his quicks, his jukes, you saw it. He was done. He was toast. He was not the same player. So he's going to be 28. And was that the time he loses it? You never know. Maybe, maybe not, because he catches a lot of short stuff and runs with it now. He doesn't really. He occasionally goes deep. Not as not as much as he used to. It's more of an occasional thing. Well, Andy Reid has a big say on that roster. He has a big say. Veach is there because of him. Brett Veach was his like little neighbor back in Philadelphia, and he liked him, and he brought him into Philly. Andy Reid has a big say who's on that team. Lots of good running backs next year that can block. They need a bigger back. I love what Motor did. I love what he offered him at the end of the year. They need a bigger back, like a guy who can thump a little bit. No, that's it. Just give me the freak. Give me the guy who can run past people, through people, over people. Oh, we need those Hall of Famers, Steve. Man, those don't come around but for a lifetime. Maybe they potentially get one. They draft one, they do something, but dogs, dogs. I don't know what dogs. No dogs played. They choked, or they just didn't get the ball one more time. Is that what you're trying to say? One team got the ball in extra time. I don't think that's a choke. The defense didn't play good. I will say that. I wouldn't want to pay those guys, man. Those guys are gonna. No, Dalvin Cook signed a contract extension, and Adams said he might stay. Ohio State. I think that kid's gonna go like early. I don't think. Like, I like the kid from Arkansas, Burks. That's the guy I like. And if this kid slips a little bit, Williams, I would look at him too. Even though he tore his ACL, like he has a torn ACL, but it was a crazy, crazy game, guys. It's 2:50 a.m. I'm gonna jump off of here. Have a good night. So you all could take care. You got some. Again, when you open these types of rooms and do these types of formats, you're always going to get people that come and have, their little say and bit, whatever. If that's the way they get their jollies off, that's cool. They obviously are not getting no pussy or anything productive. See, and you just got you just wasted your time. You see how you just got bounced, dude? It's like, it's funny to me. It's like they're one of the mods are gonna kick you in the ass. So it's just like, I think it's hilarious. You come in, waste your time, and get booted in the ass. It's just hilarious. Night, guys. Go Bills. Love you all. I'll take a break for about a month and a half or so, unless anything big happens, and I'll try to bounce back on here if and so it does. But thank you for a great season, another one. Just opening the room, I appreciate it. You guys fill it full of everything that you do. So as long as that happens, I'll continue to open it. And thank you. I appreciate it, man. Always. Go Bills. Hopefully we have a productive off season, and it started about 4 hours ago. Night, guys. See you all soon. Peace. Go Bills always. That sucks for Amos, doesn't it? Oh.